know that band? Then you probably have a good idea of who today's guest is. But before I even get into that, let me tell you one thing that is. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by D. McKelly's Barbershop and Emporium, located at 6 Kirby Road in Cromwell, Connecticut, exit 21 off of I-91. D. McKelly specializes in all types of men's haircuts and hot shaves. Appointments and walk-ins are available. For full schedule, check the website, dmckelly'sbarbershop.com, or call 860-502-3540. Gift cards are available in any denomination, and they also offer my own personal favorite, their own water-soluble pomade. So go get a fresh cut, a clean shave, and an awesome product, and tell them Ben sent you. D. McKelly's Barbershop and Emporium, responsible barbering. However, located within the barbershop is Cafe Vernazza, which is an all-organic brewed shearwater roasters coffee and espresso. Cafe Vernazza offers gelato, gelati, fraps, and rotating homemade specialty drinks and authentic and Italian. That's a new word, Authalian pastries. Give them a follow on Instagram, Cafe Vernazza. Give D. McKelly's Barbershop and Emporium a follow. And do your due diligence, my dudes. Couple things coming up this week you might want to take part in. I'm pretty sure for the next week it's still the Gallery Hours Don't Try to Boil the Ocean group exhibition with Joe Bunquillo and Caroline Woolard. That is going to be at the Hartford Art Space Gallery. It's going on September 11th through September 22nd, I should say. You could probably go there any night, evening night, and check that out. And then we also have Saturday, September 22nd, 6 to 9 p.m., Restraining Order record release show. And that is going to be with Illusion, Glory, Ammunition, and Anxious. And that is at the Crunch House in West Haven. Not going to give you a fucking address because it's a secret show spot, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got all that bullshit out of the way because I'm going to tell you about something right now. On today's podcast, I have one of the front man of one of my favorite and most influential hardcore bands coming up as a middle teen to a late teen to an early 20s person to a mid 20s person all the way up to today. These guys have been doing it forever. This guy has been doing it forever, and this band has not lost its luster. This band was very influential for me back in the day. My band played around with this band a lot. This band was sort of like Hudson Valley Hardcore before there was even Hudson Valley Hardcore. Like, they paved the way for a lot of bands that you see today. Bands like Mind Force. These dudes played a bunch of shows with, All Out War and my band, End of One. If you don't know who I'm talking about yet, I'm talking about my motherfucking friend Paul Thorstenson of Dissolve, okay? He's one of the nicest guys I know. He's one of the people that I've known for the longest. I've known this guy 20 plus years. Nothing but greatness comes from this man. This man single-handedly kept me and a couple of my friends alive by feeding us Subway for years at a time when we were lost in the world and, living on our last dimes up in the Poughkeepsie area. We talk about his background. We talk about the onset of Dissolve, what they're doing now. They have a new record coming out within the year. They got a couple shows that are coming up. We talked about the old stuff. We talked about the future. We talked about all of our crazy friends in between. We make fun of some people, but we still love them. We reminisced on some people that aren't here with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my good friend, Paul Thorstenson.
I break bread, break bread, break bread, break bread, break bread, I break bread, break bread, break bread, break bread, I break bread, break bread, break
Ladies and gentlemen, today I have my longtime friend, hardcore hero, Hudson Valley pioneer, Paul Thorstenson of the iconic multi-genre hardcore band Dissolve. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Ben.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, I just couldn't have been doing this for so long without having you on here, because I think that it's gonna fucking go not off the rails, but like up. I hope this podcast goes like a rocket sled on railroad tracks. It just goes up into the air, and that's what we're gonna fucking do today.
That sounds good to me.
So, you are a native. Did you grow up in Poughkeepsie? Were you born in the area?
I wasn't born in Poughkeepsie. I was born in Yonkers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
YO,
Yeah.
as the kids call
I
it.
was born in the YO. But my parents actually moved out of there when I was, I think, about 2 or 3, because there was a rash of arson. There was somebody setting fire to all the houses in the neighborhood.
What was this? Probably like early 80s?
No, early 70s. Yeah, I was born in 71.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you're 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. I actually remember, like, not remember it, but I've heard and like seen like old news clips of that. Like, was it like a dude that was just like going off and doing it for no reason, or was there like a insurance thing behind it? Do you know anything about it?
I don't really know. You know, I'm gonna have to, now that there's an internet, I'm gonna have to research that, because that was just always a story my parents told me.
Because I remember seeing things about the Yonkers fires.
Yeah.
And like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a thing.
It must have been maybe like an activist thing,
Maybe.
or just maybe a crazy person thing.
I definitely go on the side of being a crazy person, or I at least like to think it is anyway.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you moved out of there and you moved on up to Poughkeepsie.
Well, we moved, I think at that point we moved to Brewster.
Okay.
And then we slowly inched closer to Poughkeepsie. We lived, then we lived in Patterson for a little while.
New Jersey?
No, Patterson, New York.
Where is that?
That's pretty close to Brewster.
Okay.
It's between Brewster and Pauling.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we moved to Polkwaig, which is kind of on the outskirts of Poughkeepsie. Mm-hmm. And then I spent a couple of years in Pauling when my parents split up, because my grandparents lived there. And then after that, I moved to Hopewell Junction. These are all places you're
I like
Connecticut
Hopewell
listeners.
Junction.
You know Hopewell Junction?
Yeah, I like that place.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time up in the corner of Connecticut, the quiet corner, and then when I drive to like Poughkeepsie, I usually go out like Route 44 way, or if I go to Albany, I go up that way because it's just nice and scenic.
It is.
But I love that area.
Yeah.
And my dream is to one day own a house out that way where I can't hear the cars on the road.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just out away from everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but that's my life's dream.
There's still places like that there. It's getting a little more densely populated.
Everybody loves the like Hudson Valley is kind of like the cool spot. It's turning like Hudson and like some of those river towns are turning very Brooklynish.
I know. It's really weird. Beacon, too.
Beacon is very cool right now. There's like a DI, what's the museum there?
Dia.
Yeah, DIA
Yep.
Beacon. There's all those outdoor like sculpture parks and stuff like that. There's a pretty cool restaurant there too that's right on the river. I forget what the hell it's called. I ate there one time. But yeah, that area is like kind of like becoming way cooler than it was when I was living in the area.
A lot cooler. Yeah. I spent Beacon in particular. I lived there for a couple of years in the early 90s, and it bears little to no resemblance to today's Beacon.
None at all.
Yeah.
Being such an interesting person, can I ask you what your parents did for work growing up?
Wow. Okay. Well, my mom and my dad, let me think.
Why do I think your dad is like a rocket scientist or like a scientist of some sort?
He's actually an electrician.
Okay.
Yeah, he was an electrician by trade, but he was also a musician too. He was a guitar player.
Okay.
So he played a lot. He played a lot in like kind of cover bands.
Okay.
Which back in the 70s was actually a lot more lucrative than it is now.
I know.
Yeah, it's
right?
funny. You could actually kind of eke out a living.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Like you could be like a Eagles cover band or some shit and just make it. Like that's fun. And now though, I think it's a lot of like back then there wasn't a lot of copyright shit. If you had a cover band covering your band songs, it was kind of like thank you.
Right.
And now it's like you can't do that. We're gonna sue you.
Yeah, you get sued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did mom do?
My mom did, let me think. When I was young, she worked as a chiropractic assistant.
Really?
For a chiropractor, yeah. Yeah,
That's
she did
cool.
that for a while, yeah. And then she went back to school for graphic design, and she did that for a few years, too.
Okay.
And everything. But all the while, she was a painter,
Okay.
oil painter. And photographer. She was a really good photographer. So there was always a lot of, my parents were some pretty artsy-fartsy types.
That's cool. Now it comes together.
Yeah.
Does she got any cool paintings out there? Is she a sought-after artist?
I have a couple of her paintings that they were kind of distributed among all of the loved ones after she passed away. Mm-hmm. And the thing that was really amazing about my mom was how secretly prolific she was. Mm-hmm. Like after she passed away, there were so many. It was this closet that was just like stacks of paintings and like all these portfolios of photos and stuff. It was pretty wild, and even like writing and things like that. So my mom didn't really just kind of did it for the love of doing it.
Yeah.
Not really for getting herself out there too much.
And that's the cool part.
Yeah.
See, now I'm getting your backstory.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents didn't do that much cool shit. They had more like, growing up in Bristol, Connecticut wasn't as prolific. So when did Dissolve become a band? Let me guess and say 1992.
Ooh, very close. 1991. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Where was the first Dissolve show played?
First Dissolve show was at a place called the Shamrock Pub, and that was in Polkwake, New York, which is kind of out in the sticks, outside of Poughkeepsie. And it was on October 11th, and it's kind of funny because we had been a band, I think, since June or July. Mm-hmm. We had gotten together. And I think on our first two practices, we wrote our first song. Mm-hmm. And then for probably about 3 practices after that, we were so proud of ourselves for writing that song. And we liked it so much that we just played it over and over again.
Yep. Like you would go and play a show and play it once and play it twice.
Well, we just, and I don't know. We were just so excited because for most of us, it was our first band.
Yeah.
So definitely for me. So, and we had a really hard time kind of following it up. We kind of went dry really quick. We were like, and things kind of got, over time, we started to almost kind of grow apart.
Really?
And, where it was like, hey, you want to get together and practice? Oh, no, I have to wash my hair tonight, darn my socks, but our bass player at the time, Mike Albrecht, who went on to be, do you remember Blindside?
Yeah.
He was a guitar player in that band. He was our first bass player, but he booked the show, like all out of nowhere, and we still only had this one song, so we were kind of pissed at him. We were like, we're not really ready to play a show. We don't even, so
we need at least 3 more.
Right. So we had and it was only like a week away. Mm-hmm. Like he booked it and it was like, yeah, we'll play a show next week, and we didn't have a name, like
really
nothing. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So I thought of Dissolve while I was mowing the lawn. It's like, Dissolve, how would Dissolve? Everyone said that's fine. Mm-hmm. And it's funny that's our name because that's literally the way it was. Yeah, that's fine.
Really?
And
no pushback.
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, all right, that'll do. Well, we had a deadline. We had to be very decisive. Mm-hmm. So we also, since we only had one song, we figured, and we only really had like about 2 practices before the show, we decided to pick out like 4 or 5 of the easiest songs that we could cover. Mm-hmm. So our first set consisted of We Gotta Know from the Cro-Mags.
Awesome.
Let me think. United Forces from SOD.
Okay.
With Time from Agnostic Front, because it's basically like one riff. Well-Fed Fuck from Born Against, which is also like one riff. Mm-hmm. And Dead from Napalm Death. If you're not familiar with that, it basically goes dead. And that's the whole song. And then we had our original, and that was like our first set. And the crazy thing about it was, our bass player, Mike, was in high school at the time, And, this was really at the moment of the alt rock explosion.
Yep. Pearl Jam.
Nevermind, I think, had come out like a week or two earlier or something, So there was all of a sudden these kids that were looking for some aggro shit, so they all came out to this show. It was like it's pretty weird when you play your first show and it's packed.
Yep.
So we played and we went through our set and it was pretty cool. And then we played our original song, which Reincarnation, which is on our '93 demo. Mm-hmm. And the place just went bananas. We were
really?
Like, yeah. It was we were spoiled. We had a really good first show. So that kind of made us want to keep doing it. And then for some reason, I guess we felt really inspired after that, because then we just wrote a lot more songs and really didn't take us that long to get like our set up to where we didn't do covers anymore.
That never happens. It's like people have that first show and it's like 10 people there.
Yeah, I know.
One mosher.
And it's usually like your brother or your friend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I listen avidly. Okay, and it's hard because everything I have of your guys' albums is all in my iTunes on my computer that I never open up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when I look for you on Spotify, there's one album, but then there's some other weird band called Dissolve that's like,
yeah,
I couldn't even begin to explain to you the genre. It's like sad, heavy music.
Right.
And the first time I went to find it, I was like, that album cover doesn't look familiar.
Right.
But like, let me listen. And I was listening to it and I was like, this isn't it. But then there's like Caveman of the Future on there.
That's on there.
I want, like, did you guys ever think about figuring it out and getting your full catalog into one spot away from that other band?
Yeah, that's kind of a tough spot that we found ourselves in, because and it's always been that way for us, is that there's always been a couple other Dissolves, like and they've come and gone.
Yep.
There was one that was at the exact same time as us, and it was really just a side project, I think, for a New Zealand musician. It was like a guitar player, and it was like kind of more like ambient space rock guitar music or whatever. It was actually pretty fucking good.
I was listening to it. It's got the weird cover with like the almost like cave drawings on it. Yeah.
And if you went to Trash American Style back then, they had that record and they had a big sticker saying, "Not the hardcore Dissolve." Yeah.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Yeah, thank you, Malcolm.
A lot of kids don't know what that is.
So I was really, I remember like going through just, to see if they had our CD, and I was like, they have the other one he labeled. Okay, good. Thank you, Malcolm.
Yep.
Good. But
he was very good about stuff like that.
He really was. He was great.
Yeah.
He was great. But we so we've always really had that issue, and then but now it's with the internet, you really know about all these bands. I mean, you would kind of hear maybe about a band. Maybe there was a hippie jam band called Dissolve from New Jersey back in the 90s, but they played like 5 shows and that was it, but now with Bandcamp and stuff, if you go there, it gets a little confusing because there are a few, and we have had the name the longest, and I think that's why we kind of decided to keep it. But there was definitely a period of time where I brought up, the idea of maybe we should just change or just add some kind of like, the Dissolve, or, I don't know, Dissolve, Poughkeepsie or some bullshit.
Dissolved.
Dissolved.
Well, did you ever run into any sort of like weird legal issues where another Dissolve band wanted to like take the name and like reached out to you?
No.
Good.
No, surprisingly enough, I think that we would probably depending on how good their lawyers were, I don't really know, but I think that we have enough proof that we've been around a long time.
Probably.
We have releases and things that date back pretty far. So we could probably, unless somebody, decides, to trademark it or copyright it, we haven't really gotten that far. And I think at that point we would just relinquish it. We'd be like, all right, whatever, we give up, but, or do something. I know that bands have done, they've done things to slightly change their name to still keep it. Like I remember in the 90s, the British band Suede had to change their name to London Suede. Yep. Because and only in America, because there was a Suede already here that was going to sue them.
Yep.
Yeah, things like that. You know,
American Nightmare had to do it.
they had to do it, didn't they?
Yep, because there was a weird bar band that had done a release and was before them coming about, and I think they received like a cease and desist at some point,
wow.
and then they changed their name to Give Up the Ghost. But I think after a while of them gaining so much notoriety,
Right.
they got the name back.
Yeah.
You know, for something, because now they play.
Now they're American Nightmare again.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I don't know what happened with that. Like, I'm sure I could find out, but yeah.
Or
stuff
maybe
like
they
that.
got a little more like business savvy,
I think they
over the
did.
time, and just kind of fought for it maybe a
Yeah.
little bit more. Yeah.
Yep.
Litigated.
Yeah, they litigated. That's funny. So, when was the last time you guys played? Did you play in New Britain of like last year? At the Pulaski Club?
Yeah. We played there. Oh, Pulaski Club. Boy, we did play. I'm really drawing a blank on what the place was called. We played with Cast and Blood.
Did you play the Wallingford American Legion?
That's where we played.
Yep.
That's where we played, yes. We
Okay.
also played that Pulaski place, but I think that was far back.
Couple years
That was a
ago.
couple years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
That was with Madball.
Yep. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. They do shows there sporadically, but the Wallingford American Legion for this area is kind of like the spot where that stuff is happening.
Right.
It used to be a lot of different places in Central Connecticut. You could go to like the Sports Palace. Remember that place?
I remember the Sports Palace, yep.
The Bristol Bike Exchange.
Oh, yeah, we played there once.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you guys played there before I moved up that way, because I was a fan of Dissolve before I even met any of those guys.
Really?
Before I met Bones, before I met all them.
I know that. I remember that. I remember you and Eric at some Dissolve shows, and I had met you guys, and I think I even had talked to you guys, knew your names or whatever, and I remember when Beetle and Bones met you guys, I was like, yeah, I mean, duh, of course, you're going to be friends with them.
They're
You know,
like the same.
Yeah.
The same. Like we're like the same two people, just in another state.
That's what Beetle said.
It's very strange.
He was like, they're the Beetle and Bones of Connecticut.
Yeah, and then we all met, and then we were just all inseparable for years.
For years, yeah.
I remember, like, what else was around this way? The Hanover House.
Yeah, I love that place.
Dude, that was like.
Those are good times.
Those were like the
Yeah.
height. Did you guys ever play the Tune-In in New Haven?
Oh, we played there constantly.
I remember.
Yeah, we played there a lot. A lot of amazing shows there.
Dude, that was like. So, do you remember the Anthrax?
Yes.
That was right. The Anthrax closed. I started attending hardcore shows, I think, in 1993, and I think they played their first show or their last show in 1993.
I think that they closed earlier than that. I think
It might have been a year or two before, like 91, 92.
I think it was either 90 or 91. Yeah.
Yeah, they put a book out about it.
Yeah, I have the book.
Do you?
Yeah, I used to go there. I used to go to the Anthrax.
I was going to say, because that's your timeline, your era. That was like iconic.
Oh, yeah.
That was when like every band that was either a punk and hardcore or a oi band came through. If you were going to Connecticut, you went there.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned, when they closed, that's when the tune-in turned into that one spot where everybody would go.
Right. There was a place too just afterwards that was also in Norwalk, and I forget it a lot. I forget the name of it. It might have been called the Apocalypse or something, or like the Nightbreed.
Nightbreed was there.
Yeah.
But then there was also the Globe.
The Globe.
Remember that?
There was another place, maybe in New Haven, called the Moon.
Maybe.
And, there was even yet another place.
I'd have to ask Pete Morsey, because he's the one that kind of like had like talked all those things back into his brain. He went everywhere, like
Pete Morsey. Yeah, but let me just mention something about him, and this is kind of funny.
Yep.
Pete Morsey was the first person that I ever saw at a hardcore show, and this was like probably, I think it was in like late 1988. And I went to the Anthrax, and I was, of course, kind of scared.
Yeah.
And I was early for the show, and I think he knew the owners. He must have been helping out or something, or maybe he was just early too. I don't really know, but he was like one of the only other people there. It was me and my friends, and I was really, really small, and I was really skinny. And the first two people that I saw were him, and he was really big.
At the time, he was a big teenager.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And he was wearing like a Fred Perry shirt and some Doc Martens.
Yep, straight up skinhead back then. Yep.
And the second person I saw was Ian Keeler, who's a freaking huge dude too, who's only a teenager at the time. And of course, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die.
These guys are gonna start moshing and rip the place apart.
And Pete Morsi is a guy that I know him just because of like his bands and stuff. Do you know I've actually never had a conversation with that guy.
Really?
And it's really weird because I've been in the same room with him probably about 40 or 45 times.
I figured you guys might have known each other just because of the age, the age group.
So if you could introduce us, I would really appreciate it.
I would totally. The next time you're around, you should listen to his podcast. He does a
he does one? Yeah.
Dude, he does a podcast with this dude, I forget his name, but he's out in Sweden, and they do he's a host and so is the other guy, and it's called the Stockberry Dark, and they pull from the hardcore community, but he makes like local and dudes from the States talk about their paranormal happenings, things that have happened to them.
Wow.
And it's like something you would be into.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's called the Stockberry Dark. It's very cool, and they have their shit together. Like, they really do it. They do a lot. He does a lot of like face-to-face stuff like this, but they do a lot of stuff over the phone, so they can kind of like grab people from other areas.
Wow.
And it's like all like, hardcore metal dudes, but they talk about stuff like that, but then they get into like, he makes them tell their one weird, creepy story of things that have happened to them, and some of they're all good, but some of them are like chilling, and it's very cool.
Wow.
So if you ever get a chance to listen to that, it's awesome. But yeah, dude, the Anthrax, I was so bummed when I found out that was like the hardcore mecca of all the bands that I was listening to at the time that weren't playing anymore or that I missed.
Yeah, it was a great place. I feel like I didn't get enough time there. The first show that I went there to was in like late '88. It was like Ludachrist.
Yes.
I went to see there.
I remember Ludachrist.
Yeah. And then I went there again. I think I didn't go there again until like April of 1989. I went to a show that was Up Front, who are Connecticut legends.
Yep.
And I think they might have actually been from Mayapack or something, and some Connecticut guys.
I think it was a mixture.
Yeah, it was a mixture. And it was them, and we already had their record and knew their songs and stuff, but we went to see them in Vision.
Okay.
And Dave Franklin unfortunately passed away not that long ago. They were really great. And a New York band called Our Gang.
Okay.
Who were really cool too. And that was it. I was really hooked, and it was still a little bit. I think one thing that I have to say that I witnessed is that I saw hardcore kind of change and become bigger.
Yeah.
Because that show was like really small, and then I think the next time I went there, it was a Gorilla Biscuits and Bold show.
Dude,
it might have been Bold's last show.
You know how many kids that are going to shows now would kill to go back in a time machine and go to that show?
Yeah. Oh, but the crazy thing about it was that it wasn't like packed to the gills or anything. And when Gorilla Biscuits played, I think there was like maybe 40 or 50 people, and it was really like intimate and cool. And like only about a year later, I went to see Gorilla, just to show what happened in just that year between 89 and 90. I went to a Gorilla Biscuit show again at the Anthrax, and Start Today had come out, and it was so packed it wasn't even fun. Like you could just just find a place to stand and just wait for it to be over.
I remember going to shows at the Tune-In that were like that.
Tune-In was like that.
You
sometimes
couldn't even
too.
Fucking move in the place.
Couldn't even move.
People were standing in the bathroom.
But hardcore just got like really so much more popular just in that 1 year, and it's obvious. I mean, obviously it's grown to where you have Hatebreed playing massive places and selling them out.
Yep.
But yeah, it was funny. I think the first really indication that it was starting to get really big was there was a benefit show there for Aaron Straw, who was a Connecticut kid who died.
Yep.
And it was like Super Touch, Sick of It All, Underdog, Up Front played it. Connecticut band Within played. Probably some other people I'm forgetting, but that was like the first show that I saw there that was ridiculous. I mean, it was it was huge, and really every show after that was pretty huge.
Yeah.
It was funny. That was like a real turning point that year. But yeah, the Anthrax was an amazing place. I mean, really, like, Connecticut doesn't really get its due enough for being for just having the Anthrax
For anything.
Yeah, it really does.
It sucks because there's so much good shit that came from here, and the rest of the country doesn't like recognize it.
They don't.
You know how many people I've met from the West Coast that ask me if Connecticut is a part of New York?
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you at all. Like, some people don't even understand. They think it's like part of Long Island or New York, and it's just like a lot of celebrities kind of shit on Connecticut.
Do they?
Like Joe Rogan. Like, when I got into podcasting, like, he was like the coolest. You know what I mean? Because he was this guy that would pull one person, they would talk about everything, and in so many episodes, he shits on Connecticut. You know why? Because he grew up outside of Boston, and he says constantly that Connecticut is only a highway between Boston and New York.
Oh my God.
And I think he came here at one point and had a bad show, like a bad comedy show.
Oh, all right. Well, that'll do it. Yeah.
Just like Dave Chappelle came to Hartford at City Steam, got booed off a stage, shit on Connecticut for years, came back, and I think he played, I don't know, a comedy club or the Casino, had a great show, and then changed his tune and started praising it again.
Then he loves Connecticut.
The thing is, like, nobody really comes here to vacation or like, what are you coming here for? Like, there's really, there's like the beach and like things that are down in the New London and Mystic area that are really nice, and then we have like the Quiet Corner, and like, but no one's coming to like Hartford to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like a sad thing. Like, the Whalers left years ago, and then we weren't anything sports related. And then in the mid 90s, they made a bid to bring the Patriots here.
Really?
Lost it. That would have changed.
Yeah, it would have changed everything.
That would have changed the whole state. You know what I mean?
It would have.
Lost that, and they stayed in Foxborough. But yeah, man, it's just like, it's definitely like a state and an area that's on the rise. It's not on the decline, but people are moving out because of like the taxes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But being a Connecticut resident my whole life, I have to hold on and battle the rest of the world when they shit talk it. That's so funny.
Well, I think that's probably why Connecticut and Poughkeepsie have such a strong bond, because we get each other.
It's the same.
Yeah, because
same vibe.
Poughkeepsie gets shit on so much. It really does.
But when I lived there, and even now as like an adult, like, I can appreciate the cool things about it.
Right.
It's a beautiful area.
Oh, it is.
Like, when
it really
you go up into the woods and shit in the Hudson Valley, like, I, as an adult that likes to go and like train rides through the autumn leaves and shit like that.
Oh, it's perfect for that.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
But I could see like a young kid like wanting to, come here for like a hardcore show or anything other than that. There's a couple colleges out there that are pretty big. Same here, but people go there and then they move away.
Yeah. That's kind of it's yep. It's very, very similar. But Connecticut, I mean, as far as the Connecticut hardcore scene, I've always, even though I live in New York, I've always really kind of identified myself as more of a Connecticut hardcore kid because I went to the Anthrax. I probably went to like 3 CBGB's matinees.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really like going to the city. I'm sorry, but CBGB's was just in a terrible neighborhood, Ben. And I was a young, frail teenager, and I was scared, man. I wasn't going to fucking go there. Fuck that shit.
Listen.
Norwalk was nice, dude.
Listen, I was probably around the time 16, 17, 18. We used to take my mother's car and tell her that we were only going to New Haven. Me, Ronnie, my brother, Skelsky, and Eric would pile into my mother's Topaz, and we would drive to the Lower East Side and go to CBGB shows. And for some reason, we kind of like worked ourselves in to that group and like just met those dudes from down there purely through being young comedic maniacs. Like, we would go down there, and I know he's crazy now, but at the time, do you know who introduced me to most of the iconic hardcore people that I know from New York?
Who?
Rick to Life.
Rick to Life. Rick to Life is the glue that holds us all together.
Dude, Rick to Life will really hold everybody together because we can all be held together to make fun of him. He introduced me to Freddie Madball. He introduced me to Vinny Stigma, who I still keep in touch with to this day because we are both Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Oh, okay.
He introduced me to Saab and Jorge from Marauder.
Wow.
He introduced me to fucking Ezek back in the day. There's pictures of me and Eric and my brother standing on stage at like Crown of Thorns shows and Marauder shows, soaked in our own sweat. Our nipples are coming through our shirts. You can see them. And we're just surrounded by killers, and there's just us up on the stage just being young crazy maniacs having fun, because that's what hardcore was.
Right.
And we did not want to stand on the floor because you would get smashed, so
Yeah,
we
you would get destroyed.
we stood on the stage because we knew nobody was moshing on the stage, you know what I mean?
Right.
And we just like, dude, I remember I probably have told this fucking stupid story on the podcast a million times, but Rick made me and my brother and Eric go to this place called like Bulldog Burrito around the corner.
Okay.
And we ate with Carl from Earth Crisis, and we sat down, and I think at the time Carl and Rick were vegetarians or vegans.
All right.
And we sat down, and the burritos at this place were humongous.
Okay.
And if you know Carl from Earth Crisis, he's not a large person.
Right.
So when we sit down and he's sitting across from me at the table, I have no money. I'm not even eating, right? I bought the gas from my mom's car, and I had to get back. He got these 2 huge vegetarian burritos.
Yeah.
And I sit down across from him, and I go, damn, Carl, you got an appetite like a man-witch. And man-witch being a meat product.
Right.
He looked at me and he goes, what the fuck does that mean?
Oh my God.
And I just got really weird. It was one of those situations where it just got so awkward and nobody talked. And then I think like the tension got broke, like just Eric scream laughing at the fucking whole situation. Dude, like Saab coming around and bringing his newest vampire Puerto Rican girlfriend and just like all of us fawning over her. And like if it was an adult, he would like smash them, but since it was us young teenagers, he was like, yeah, come hang out with Esmeralda. Like it was such a strange time.
Mistress of the Dark.
Dude, totally. I got arrested sitting outside of CBGB's one day for public drunkenness.
Oh no.
My brother drove my mom's car, and at the time we were always on the hunt for the Old English purple label.
Oh my God.
Because it had like a higher alcohol content. And for some reason I thought it was going to be a good idea to drink 2. And I was sitting on the step outside of on the curb at CBGB's, and I was throwing up. Cop came by, gave me a ticket, and I had to come back in 2 days for court.
Oh my God.
I'm a junior in high school, or I'm a sophomore in high school. So I skipped school, take my mom's car down to the city.
To go to court?
To go to court.
Oh my God.
It's one of these weird things where you walk into a building and it's just like, almost like a bank teller.
Right.
And you kind of like sit there with the person, and they tell you, and they gave me a continuance date. And I looked at the lady, I go, I'm 17. I took my mom's car to come here. I'm not going to come back. And she was like, well, that's your problem. And I never went back. And I don't know what happened. It's years later. It's probably thrown out, but like fucking that happened. All kinds of shit like that happened. You ever go to any of the Super Bowl of hardcores in DC back in the day?
Not in DC.
They did it somewhere else. Baltimore? Where were they usually?
I went to a Super Bowl of hardcore at the Ritz in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember one time we all drove down to
New York City. Sorry.
Yeah.
We always just call it the city.
Everybody from here.
Right.
We went down there, and it was like one of those setups where it was like a big hall with a stage on both sides of the room.
Okay.
So while one band played, the other band on the other side would set up, and as soon as that band was done, the crowd would move over to the other side, watch that band. While that band was playing, another band on this side showed up, so it was kind of like do.
It's a great system.
And I don't know what happened, but we ran out of money, and I had to drive my pickup truck back from Philadelphia with a half tank of gas. I don't know how we made it back, and I blew through every toll, and I only stopped once to buy Vivarin.
Wow.
Because I was falling asleep. Aaron Butkus's brother drove down, and like he got in the car with somebody else, and we had to drive back. We used to put ourselves in stupid situations just to make it to hardcore shows.
Oh God.
We were like that, like committed to it. It was very strange. I'm not that committed to anything in my life right now.
I think about that too. I think about the commitment that we would have to just playing a show.
Yep.
You know, we played a show. I remember once out in Ohio, and we had this shuttle bus that I think originally belonged to like an airport, like it was like an airport shuttle bus.
For some reason, I remember that.
You probably
bus.
remember it. We had it for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was such a piece of shit.
Yep.
And we drove it all the way out there to play a show in Ohio. It was with Overcast. So they may have gotten us the show. So we show up there, and there are literally like people there. I can't remember what the name of the straight edge crew at the time was there, but they were kind of intimidating. You know, they were definitely like kind of tough, like the
Courage Crew.
Courage Crew. That's it. So we showed up, and there were guys, and you know, now it's really common, but this was like the kind of mid '90s. You didn't really see people that had X's tattooed on their neck, you know, that often. But there were guys with like X's tattooed all over their necks, all over their, you know, everywhere, tattooed on their hands.
The Midwest was big for like that kind of straight edge people. And
we were like, immediately we were like, oh man, you know, this might not be so good for us because, you know, we've never been the paragons of straight edge, you know. So we pull up, and like our bass player Chuck, he was kind of new in the band, and I don't think he really knew too much about, you know, straight edge and things like that, you know, yet. So he gets out of the van, and the promoter comes over, and he's like, obviously, to me, I knew that he was a straight edge guy just by looking at him. Yep. And he comes over, he's like, oh, okay, you guys are Dissolve, how you doing? And he's great. So he tries to, you know, pass the guy a bowl, you know, whatever, because he just like lit one of the guys like, oh no thanks, I'm good, man. And I think that was it, because then when the other bands were on, there was like all packed. It was great. When we went on, nobody. They all left. They were like,
crazy.
Yo, one of those guys smokes pot.
Yeah. And that was like the easy way out.
Yeah, because I'd heard, I mean, Overcast have like a crazy story involving those guys that was so much worse. So we really... we kind of dodged a bullet there. But yeah, so nobody watched us, and we drove all the way out there for a show that nobody watched us, and like our tire blew out on the way home. We had to get like, you know, some guy to come out and repair the tire on the side of the highway. You know, it was freaking awful. And, you know, probably like a good like $400 in the hole just to play some shit show that nobody showed up to. But and that was kind of, not to say that was common, but it was definitely common to, you know, to really go way out of our way financially and really just putting a lot of energy into playing, you know, weekends of shows where maybe we played in front of the other bands, you know, things like that.
And at that time, you didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I didn't care. These days, when that happens, we don't really feel that bad about it, but we're in a different place. Like we definitely arrive in cars that will actually make it there.
Yeah,
you know, things like that. You know, it's not as big of a deal. It's not like we're just like, oh, we gotta get there. Yeah, you know, we have like, you know, $20 between us to do it, you know.
I remember some real janky setups for dudes that were having tour buses and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember American Nightmare did a string of shows with Daughters, and there was one other band with them, and they brought me and Eric with them down to like New Jersey, and they had like a reconstructed like short school bus.
Oh wow.
And it was painted like blue, and they had like the driver, and they had 2 seats in front, but in the back was like kind of like a setup of bunk bed on the side.
Okay.
One plank on top, one plank on bottom. Wood. No mattress, no blankets, just straight up wood and like a pillow.
They were living like monks or something.
Dude, and I remember this is where Eric coined the term fake sleep and fake awake. So like everybody would kind of be like dozing off but acting like they were awake. So that was like, you know, fake awake. But then there was like, if you don't want to talk to anybody and you're just like acting like you're sleeping, that's fake sleep.
Fake sleep. Fake awake.
And I remember we drove down to play some show at Rutgers. They played a show at Rutgers, and there was like those iconic food trucks called the grease trucks. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
And like you could go up to the truck and get whatever you wanted on like a baguette. Like, I mean, like marshmallows, mustard, pretzel, chicken tenders, and I remember us making the most insane combinations and just eating them and being so happy. And every single truck would take a picture of you eating, and the whole side of the truck was just these weird Polaroids and like developed pictures of weird groups of young people eating these disgusting sandwiches. And that was the grease trucks.
The grease trucks.
What's the farthest you guys ever traveled? You definitely played Europe before. Have you ever left the country?
No, we never played Europe. Nope.
You ever play Canada?
Play Canada.
Okay.
Yep. We did a Canadian tour. That wasn't that great. The first couple shows were really good. There was one on the way up that wasn't actually in Canada. It was in Buffalo, and it was a fest that had been going on all day. And we were supposed to play early in the day, but I think we got lost, and we showed up really, really late. The headliner was Snapcase.
Okay.
And we showed up really, really, really late. And I remember we like pulled in, and the guys who were promoting the show were just like, "You guys got to go on now. You know, you guys got to go on now." So we're like, okay. So we ended up, just because we were really late, we ended up playing just before Snapcase, and it was fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, if we played early, if we did everything right and everything we were supposed to do, the show would have sucked.
Yeah. You would have played like first or like after everyone left.
Right.
That always happens. That's very cool.
So we showed up really late, and it's kind of a dick way to get what you want, but I don't know.
Bands do it on purpose, or it happens that way, and it just works out.
We didn't mean it. We really didn't. It just worked out that way. And yeah, but then we went up to Montreal. Montreal was great.
Montreal's a cool city.
Played a great show there. And then it just kind of deteriorated from there. Like, the more we went towards the center of the country, it really just kind of fizzled out. It wasn't as great, and it got really freaking weird.
Yeah, Canada, like you stay in like that's the right side, like Ontario, Toronto. Maybe you can get out to Vancouver, like those big cities. But
right.
Like, I know rappers that go up there. Like the Apathy is up there, I think right now. And I don't know how he does it, but he's playing like a string of like 12, 14 shows, and he does well. But his partner that he raps with is from Canada.
Oh,
so
all right.
He's kind of
there he goes.
He's got that in, and they have like a market. Like he's still like that big enough to make a big show happen.
Oh, cool.
But like you get into like Saskatchewan and like weird places like that, British Columbia, like
right.
I think the shows are kind of well attended because there's so little people in the area and so little people or venues that they all will just go to one.
Yeah.
There's not a million clubs in the city that they're going to play, you know what I mean? So
right.
when something like that does happen, people are coming out because it never happens.
Right.
I went to play a rap show with a couple of guys from Albany years ago, and I was turned away at the border because of my record.
Oh yeah. That's we got it's pretty hard. One time, like getting over the border there, we didn't think it was going to be so much of a problem, but yeah, we were boarded, searched, we were detained for a while.
Same.
Did
they let you all in?
They did.
Yeah, they
did. It was good. We were. It was a little hairy there for a while. We weren't sure if it was going to happen. We thought we were going to have to go back, but they did end up letting us in, which was good. And then it's funny. Then coming back to the States, no problem at all.
Yeah,
we're practically waved through.
Yep. It's really weird because like I've seen it happen. Like when we were going through, it all depends on what you look like.
Yes, and we did not look good.
And it's very weird because like it's totally racial profiling. If you have tattoos, they'll pull you over. So we went up there, and it was a Ben Grimm, Desmatic, Masai, and our friend Devin Atherton was our connect up there to get all the shows. He lived up there. We had tour flyers with our names and dates on it. Me and the dude Masai got turned away at the border. So those two dudes got to go up and play the shows, but everybody attending thought it was going to be these 4 rap acts, and then it was only 2.
Oh, wow.
We had merch. I had shirts, everything like that. So
it's a shame.
So Masai was black, okay? And it's me and Dez, 2 white guys with tattoos. And on the way, approaching the border, we say to him, we're not being weird. We're not like telling you this, but why don't you let one of us drive? Just because these are some crazy French Canadians. They might see a black dude driving with two weird tattooed white dudes. They're going to maybe think something's up. Let one of us drive through. And he's like, nah, dude, I got this. I was like, all right. So we get up to the border, and we're seeing the cars in front of us. If it's like a nice looking white couple, yeah, go on through. People with kids, go on through.
Yeah.
Dogs sticking their head out of the window. Okay, go on through. We get up to the thing, and they're like, hey, guys. And I had just got my passport. I don't know how, but like I have an extensive criminal record. But I got my passport. But I think the hang up is when you go to travel, that's where they'll flag you.
Right.
I think anybody can get a passport, but when it comes time to do the deed of traveling, that's when you'll run into like a snag.
Right.
So we're going through, and he like pokes his head in the car. He's like, where are you guys going? And I don't think we had our story straight because I was like, we're going to dinner. And then one of the other dudes were like, we're playing a show. And the other guy was like, we're going to play a show and go to dinner.
Oh, no.
So he's kind of like, all right, pull over there. And he comes out, he gets us, takes all our passports, and they separate the three of us. And I'm just like, oh, this isn't going to be good. They search the car, they find the merch, and they don't like that.
Right. They don't
tax
like
you.
that. Yeah. They
want you to pay like a tax on it.
Right. We had that problem too.
Des doesn't have a criminal record. I had an extensive criminal record with my record of my jail time and a felony on there. And Masai had been arrested 7 years previous he was totally clean, like he's totally like a person that doesn't get in trouble. But 7 years previous, he was arrested for stealing a pair of sneakers from an Eblins.
Oh God!
In Albany. They told him, okay, you can't come back to Canada for 5 years. They let Des go through, and they told me that I could never come back to Canada. And they had my full rap sheet in front of me, and they were asking me shit like, what happened here? What happened? What did you pay this victim in restitution?
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, why do you give a fuck? You know what I mean? They held us there for 3 hours. Des had to bring us back to Albany and then go drive back up and go through himself to meet the dude and go on all the shows.
Oh, Jesus.
I got in my car in Albany and just started driving home. And as soon as I hit the Mass Pike, boom, pulled over for speeding. I have the paper. Like, they give you some sort of paper that states, like, what happened.
Right.
And the cop comes up to the car. I was going, like, 80 and, like, a 65. And he comes up to me and he goes, you know how I pulled you over? I was like, yeah, I'm probably speeding, blah, blah, blah. And he's, like, asking me, like, what had happened during the day. I was like, dude, I had a shitty day. They wouldn't let me into Canada. And he goes, why? And I go, I have a criminal record. And as I said it, I was like, fuck, like, that's probably not the best thing to say to this guy. And I take the paper and I look at him and I go, look. And I give him the paper and he goes, hold on. And he goes back to his car and I think he's going to come back and give me a ticket. He comes back and he goes, man, you've had a shitty day. Get out of here.
Wow.
And he just gives me all my shit back.
That's so funny. Like, I would have thought that story would have gone a different way.
Dude, he was like, you're like lame as hell. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? But I hear about stuff like that happening a lot. They don't like, Canada's pretty clean. They just don't want like, and it's not like Americans, it's everybody. They just have a really, really like rigid process of getting into like if you have anything, if you have ever been arrested for a DWI anywhere at any year, they don't let you in.
Wow,
it's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
I was talking to my friend last night. He just got his citizenship. He's a German citizen. They made him jump through so many hoops to get like his citizenship here. He married a girl. He had to go to a hearing to prove that the marriage was real and not one of those like green card weddings, you know what I mean? And he says that like going to Germany, they don't give a shit. They don't stop you for anything. You could be a fucking murderer and they let people in. Canada and Australia are the two places like in the world that have that hard of a process to get in. Like, if you have anything on your record, they're not letting you in.
Jeez.
But yeah, we fucked that whole thing up. I felt bad. Like the people that showed up to those shows, like the show probably would have been like an hour and a half. They got to see like 45 minutes of rap.
Oh my God.
But yeah, man, fucking, I would have thought you guys went to Europe.
No, we never have. And there was a weird period of time, not really while we were together, but I think like for a few years after that, but you know, when the internet really started kind of proliferating, I guess, People, there were pockets of people in Europe that got really into us. And
Yeah.
we were actually asked by a label out there if they could put out our demo on CD or something, you know, or Demo 93. They really wanted to get it out there. But we actually didn't really have any kind of master anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have any like good means. We were like, well, you could rip it off of, I have a cassette you could rip it off of, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, that was about it. But yeah. So I mean, I guess there was a period of time where maybe it would have been a good thing for us to go there.
I feel like you guys would do really
Yeah.
well. It's really funny how American bands will kind of fizzle out here, but then they can go to Europe and just be like huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I saw Madball in a bar maybe 3-4 years ago in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Nobody dancing.
Wow.
And they would play old songs and then the crowd would get going.
Right.
And they would play new songs and the people would like stand there and look at them. And I remember Freddie Madball getting really agitated in between songs, and they play this song, nobody does anything, and in between song he goes, they actually really like that one in Europe. I remember people like laughing. It was just so strange. And it's just like those dudes go over there and they're like on like a hate breed level.
Oh yeah,
and they're playing festivals and big shows. They come back here
I
and
see YouTube videos of them playing like for festivals with, you know, thousands of people totally into them.
Yeah, like and
Yeah.
the same thing is like hate breed. Like they had their time here and they still do really well on like big festival things, but they go there and it's amplified like by 100 times.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It's so strange. I just saw them play for free at the Mohegan Sun Casino.
Oh, I heard about that.
A couple weeks ago, and it was awesome just to see them do that, because they were just like, the casino will ask a band like that to come play and pay them very well, just because they know their fans are going to come into the casino and probably spend money.
Right.
And they're not going to lose money on that, because
Right.
the people that come in are probably going to gamble and they're going to get their money back. They go, I saw maybe 2-3 years ago, BD posted like a video of them playing in the Philippines. There was like fire coming up through the stage and like pyrotechnics.
Wow.
And it was just like a sea of people, like a cross-shaped like stage where you can go like walk out on like a catwalk thing.
Wow.
And them just losing it. You know what I mean? And it's just like people in other countries are so like behind that, like when that comes through, it's like boom.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like it's a strange market. Rap and hardcore.
Yeah.
Metal and shit like that too. It's very strange.
Well, I kind of feel like there's still a value in most countries besides ours on live shows, seeing bands live.
Yep.
I don't know really what happened over the past like 10 or 15 years. People just don't seem to really care as much about that as they used to.
Isn't it strange?
Yeah, people don't. I don't think people really know. I mean, you know, because you went to shows in the 90s. I mean, if you had a show, people just came.
Yeah.
You know, it was, and there was always a crowd. There's always kind of a big crowd.
It was all word of mouth, too.
Yeah,
Or
it
you
was.
found a flyer. You weren't getting a Facebook invite back then.
Well, you would think with the internet that it would be even better.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that, like, you know, in the MySpace days.
Yep.
You know,
Remember that?
You just put your stuff on MySpace, and I just figured everybody would show up. And there was, like, kind of like maybe a shining moment where that was true.
Yep.
You know, where that really worked. But I don't know, things just kind of flipped around, and now I feel like everybody knows about every show that's going on, like probably in a 200-mile radius of their house, and they go to none of them.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's very weird, dude. Like I remember, and like we were talking before, like traveling. Like as a 40-year-old man right now, like there has to be some insane show going on for
Right.
me to want to even leave this state. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But back as like a 16, 17, even a 20-year-old person, dude, I take days off work.
Yeah.
Fucking fill the fucking car with fucking rations.
Yeah.
And then go to this show, have a fucking excellent time with all my friends, like remember this fucking awesome thing for the rest of my life, and go home and just be like happy about it.
Right.
It's weird. I think as Americans, we're all kind of like spoiled almost when it comes
Yeah.
to like music like that.
I think you're right.
There's people like me and you that still love that kind of shit, but like even like the younger generation, it's on their computer, it's on their phone. Every once in a while they might go to like a fucking Warp Tour or some shit like that.
Right.
And that's one and done for them.
Well, I kind of feel that way. That's one of the things that I think is contributing to I don't know. I wouldn't say the downfall of the hardcore scene because it's still as strong as it's ever been. I think it's just different. But as far as like I think the big fests that happen every year probably started out as like a really great idea and a lot of fun, but it's really strangling small shows to death.
Yep.
And the small time promoters, they can't get people to come out to their shows, no matter how stacked they get their bills.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of weird. I mean, if you really can go to like and I'm not slamming this as hardcore. This is hardcore, an amazing thing. It's crazy that they can even do something on that level with hardcore. It's fucking nuts. But if you could just go to that one show, we make it there, you pretty much see every single one of your favorite bands. You probably don't really need to go to a show for like 5 months.
Yeah, and you're getting to see like all these old bands because they're pulling from people from
every generation,
way back.
Yeah, way back.
I mean? And it's kind of like. Yeah, it's your one-stop shop for that weekend to see everything. You're good for the year.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I know, and a lot of, I'm friends with some bands that are always on those.
Yep.
Mind Force, All Out War. They just go from fest to fest to fest. They do that, and that's pretty much all they really need to do.
Yeah.
And that establishes them, keeps them popular, and sells their records. And but when they play smaller shows, it's a more modest affair. You'll have in like a 400 capacity place, you'll have 100 people. Or something. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's like I've been to some hardcore, like a lot of hardcore shows just over the past 10 years or so, that it's just been a weird vibe like that, where I'm like, man, with all these bands, why isn't this place fucking packed and going bananas? Like, why is there 50 people here? Why are the bands saying, wow, what a fucking totally amazing show? And I'm like, dude, if this were 1996, this show would suck.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's such a strange way of events that it's turned. But the thing is, you bring up Mind Force. I feel like they're a band that is like bringing it back.
They are.
They're acting like people used to act. They're happy to play shows.
Yep.
They are playing a lot of shows. They are asked to play fests, but yet they'll also play your local VFW.
Yes, they will.
And Jay is from that era.
Yep.
He's a little younger than me, but he's still like, he saw, and that's where he learned, you know, and he's always held on to that. That dude loves hardcore.
Absolutely.
And now they're just like playing that style of hardcore again. And I love it because it's kind of like knocking some sense back into hardcore kids.
Right.
Like, this is how it's supposed to be.
I feel the same way about Mind Force. I think that they're like they're the band that gives me hope. I'm just
totally.
like, yes. Like, I see that, I'm just like, yes. And the fact that they're popular, that it's not just old farts like us who understand them.
Kids are going crazy.
Kids go crazy for them, of all ages, and it's great. And it's also kind of showing, just for me being a music geek, that, they're showing some fucking chops, dude.
Yeah.
Like them dudes can play.
Dude,
all of them are sick players.
They're heavy.
And it's cool to see people appreciate that.
It's so cool that they have almost kind of like this youth crew vibe, but they also have like this. Some of their breakdowns are heavy.
Yeah.
And I've seen them play, and I've seen them play videos of them play, and kids are fucking losing it.
Yeah, all kids go crazy.
Whether they're moshing or they're fucking stage diving or they're fucking running across the room, like everybody, the energy level is so high.
Yeah.
And I just got it. Like you just said, they're kind of the people that are keeping it alive right now. There's a few bands out there that are doing that, but for this area, those dudes are really doing well. Yeah. I'm gonna go see them October 6th. They're playing the American Legion in Wallingford.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
I didn't know that.
Because that's a small room, and those dudes will pack it out.
Yeah, they will.
They're like second on the bill. Brace War is like the headliner.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I'm psyched to go to that, because every time we go to the Wallingford American Legion, I'll go inside to watch the band that I'm there to see, because it's a sweat box.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, we have 3 grills outside that we just cook.
Ah, that's cool.
And we just make food for people. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, and it's like, that's how it should be. Like, that parking lot situation, like, like that's half the show right there.
Yeah.
Hanging out with your boys, seeing people that like traveled from a different era that you don't get to see usually.
Oh, well, that last time that we played, it was there, the Wallingford place. Oh yeah, it was crazy. I ran into so many old friends. And the thing that was really funny about it, Aaron actually brought it up when he was on your podcast.
Yep.
You know, that show. And it was really funny because, you know, I saw people I hadn't seen in a long time, and I know that I got old, and so did they.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of funny because even with Aaron, I saw Kenny from Jagavisions.
Yep.
Kenny. I saw him, and I'm like, hey, Kenny, what's up? You know, so I'm hanging out, and he's hanging out with this dude, and he's like, yeah, you know, Aaron, you know, whatever. And we look at each other. And then look at each other, double take. We're like, holy shit, I totally know this fucking guy.
I've known you for 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
It's so funny,
But we were
man.
standing next to each other for like 2 or 3 minutes and didn't realize it. And that continued to happen for like the next like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going around and I'm standing next to you know, Daryl.
Yep.
And I'm like standing next to him. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude!
This was
Hi,
only-
what's up, dude?
This was only
It's
a few
crazy.
months ago, right? The Death Threat show.
Yeah, AJ Mind War.
I was there, and
Yeah.
I think there were so many people. I don't think we
I don't think
me and
you were there,
ran
Ben.
into each other.
You were there?
I was
I
there.
wasn't sure if you were. Oh, I didn't see you.
Something weird happened to me that night, and I was a little out of it.
Oh, okay.
I was, you know, grilling, and there was a certain kind of cookie on a plate.
Oh.
And as I was like, you know, like grilling, I took a bite of it, and then somebody came over to me, and they're like, those are for sale. And I looked at the girl, and I go, those shouldn't be sitting right there.
Oh no! Oh my God, that's terrible.
And for the rest of the night, it was actually hilarious because I was just kind of like in another world. People kept asking me, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
I'm half laughing.
Oh my God.
But half living in a nightmare. And I'm getting married. I have this podcast. People want to talk to me about my job.
Right.
And people are coming up to me. And I'm supposed to be engaging in these intellectual conversations, and I'm just blank.
Yeah,
I can't.
You're
even,
incapable.
I can't have a conversation. And people like walked away from that night like, what the fuck was wrong with Ben? And I had to reach out to all the people that I thought I had conversations with and tell them what happened, and they were like, "Oh my god!"
apologize, yeah.
They're like, "That happened to me once." Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I was just stargazing that
Oh my
night,
God.
looking up. I remember I was on the grill and I was cooking food, and I start to feel it set in, and I felt like I had 3 arms. I kept trying to put the spatula down, pick up a hot dog, do this, do that, and finally one of my friends came over and was like, "Dude, I'll take over."
Yeah, that's good.
And I remember Mel from Ground Zero.
Yes.
He came up to me. He was just about to get married. I'm planning a wedding, and he's like asking me, and he works in like the mental health field, and he's asking me these crazy questions about job and like the wedding, and I'm just giving him like these 1-word answers, and I could tell he's looking at me like something's up. And I remember I went home that night. The next morning, I messaged him. I explained the whole thing, and he's like, "Dude, that has definitely happened to me in the last couple years. It fucking sucks, but it's funny." I remember running into Daryl that night. I talked to Daryl, but he gets it because he's he's a stoner, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I just remember I had to reach out to a few people and be like, "Listen, I'm okay. Like, this is what happened." And they were just dying laughing about it. But
It's funny.
Yeah, I just remember like standing in the shadows I was like very like active when I got there, but after it happened, I just remember being quiet, standing in the shadows, and like having to wait it out.
Man.
I was the last person in the parking lot, and I just got in my car and I was like, "Okay, I think I'm good now." I just drove home, pulled up here, sat in my car for a good 5 minutes. I don't know why. And I just went up to my bedroom, crawled into bed with Meg, and I just held her and I go, "I don't even know why I leave this house." And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I explained to her what happened, and she's fucking like, "Oh my God." Like, but
Jesus.
like now, like, you know, there's been a few shows since that night, and I find everybody that I thought I talked to that night, and it's just like a point of like total comedy, you know, like that shit is just out there, you know what I mean? And I remember like a lot of cool people being there that night.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I haven't seen these people in like some of them in 15 years.
Yeah, there was people I haven't seen in a really, really, really long time.
I'd love to have a conversation with them, but tonight is not the night. I remember sitting in my car for a long time, people coming and asking me if I was okay, and I'm just like rocking out to some weird rap music. But yeah, like they're gonna be there on October 6th, and I'm psyched, dude. Like those dudes are like going into that, you know, they're building. What are they on? Triple B Records?
Yeah, they're on Triple B. They're what's it? Excalibur, I think is the name of the record.
Yep.
It's coming out. It's coming out soon. I think they just had like they're doing the social media campaign now. For it.
And they got a couple dudes in the band that were in other bands. I forget that bass player's name. One of them was in Drowning Room at some point.
Oh yeah,
What's his name? Nick was.
Nick played guitar for a little while in Drowning Room.
Yep.
Yeah, and I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jay and Nick were both in Robots and Empire.
Yep.
Jay was the drummer.
When Dreams Die.
When Dreams Die.
Yep.
Yes, they're both in that. And Mike, the guitar player, was in a band called Casket Architects.
Yep.
They were really cool.
I remember that.
And yeah. Among other projects and bands and things like that. Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with Sean Mesler?
I do, actually.
Isn't he the worst internet person ever? Don't get me wrong. When I see him in real life, love him.
No, dude, you're so right about that. Because if I just went on the way he behaves on social media, I'd be like, damn, what a fucking asshole. But anytime that I've ever been around that guy in the last couple of years, dude, he's so freaking nice.
He's a good dude.
He's such a good dude. And I'm like, why you gotta act like that? That's not you, man.
He's a total...
I guess deep down inside it is or something.
He's a total Jekyll and Hyde
I know,
person
man.
on the internet.
He's gotta I know, it's so...
Don't you dare give your opinion on a movie because he will come up and rip it apart.
I only do that just to kind of mess with him a little bit, and I think he knows, that I'm just like, I'll just throw in like my opinion because I know he's gonna, and he's never like straight up mean to me. He's straight up mean to some people.
Oh yeah,
but he's never like that with me. He'll like kind of like do like thinly veiled insults, whatever here and there, but that's about it, because we go really, really, really far back.
Yeah,
like we met in I think '89, at the Anthrax.
Mm-hmm.
And which is funny when you meet people from your area out of town.
Yep.
And
then you figure out,
you're like, oh shit, we're
both
from there
the
too.
Town.
Exactly. We came there separately. But yeah, I know. But I know it was really funny. Every time that I run into him, he's been nothing, sweet as pie.
Yep.
Nicest guy. You know, and boy, he's a troll, dude.
I think
he is an internet troll.
Didn't he work at like a Blockbuster for years? He worked at a video store for years.
I think he did.
And that's how he has that knowledge of all those movies.
Well, he went to school. There was a little while when I went back to school. I went to our community college, and I was taking like communication courses, which was pretty much like sound and video production.
Yep.
And he was like a semester or two ahead of me in the same thing. So he knows he's educated, like as far as like screenwriting and things like that.
He's a smart guy.
And so he knows, and I think he's done some, and I don't really know, but I think he's done some work in the industry, and or at least knows a lot of people who do. So he kind of knows his stuff, but it's like, everyone has a different opinion, and it's okay, Sean.
Video games too.
He's really, really, really into that.
Do not give your opinion on a video game on an open platform of social media, because he must have like some like alerts set for when people do it.
I'm not really a video game guy, so maybe that's why I've been able to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Maybe because maybe that's where it gets personal.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like, as much as like I hate his opinions on certain video games and movies, I will reach out to him for like, is this worth buying? Should I get this? And he'll be like, yeah, it's good. Or like, no, don't do it. Or like, I've been waiting for Metroid to come out on the Switch, or like at least be like announced as to when they're doing it. And every few months I'll be like, yo, you heard about, like, you got a date for Metroid yet? And he's like, I haven't heard anything, but I'll let you know. Like, he's my go-to dude for like shit like that. But like, yeah, don't fucking talk to him about a Star Wars movie.
Oh God. And if I disagree with something that he says, I sit there and I'm like, let it slide, Paul. Just let it slide. Let it slide. Do not engage.
Yep. But I'll tell you right now, I remember fucking almost breaking my limbs moshing for Drowning Room as a younger teen.
Drowning Room. When they I missed it, but when I think the last time around, like maybe like a year ago or so, they played some shows, and they put out an EP.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they played a Connecticut one. Did you go to that?
I think I did, because I remember. I think that might be the last time I've seen him in person.
Okay.
But I don't remember going inside. I can't remember. I think it might have been at that Pulaski Club.
Because Connecticut, they got really popular here.
Yeah.
They really did. I remember seeing. It was. I think we played one of those bands at like the Bike Exchange, where there was like 1,000 bands on the bill.
Oh, anytime. Yeah.
And I remember they played, and man, what a fucking response.
They used to get really good responses out here from like all the kids that were into like Cornerstone, Hatebreed, Fast Break. Like they would would play one of those shows, and so would you guys, and it would be well received.
Mm-hmm.
And then people just started figuring out who everyone was, and like it was one and the same. Like if you were from your area, you knew everybody from Connecticut.
Right.
And they were really they got pretty big at one point, and like I don't remember how many like actual records they put out, but I remember them playing like the same record every time, you know, and it never got old.
Right.
You know, and then they just kind of like, you know, stopped playing, like the band broke up or whatever. But
yeah, the band broke up. They had a couple of different projects that had the same members, like some of the same members. I think Sean and Greg did a few things together. Yeah, oh God, like My Own Worst Enemy, I want to say, was one. Darwin Radio.
I remember Darwin Radio.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And Sean had that other band. What was it? Red Devil Suit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Red Devil Suit.
Yep.
I forget about. I don't think I've really given much time to listen to that, but I remember the album and the album art and shit. What have you've ever engaged in any side project stuff?
Yeah. Actually, I had a band. We're all still friends. We might still play again. Devil May Care.
Devil May Care. Yep.
Yep. And that was with Andy, who's an All Out War.
Yep.
Who's a guitar player. We've had a lot of fun with that. You know,
I remember going to a show. You guys played a few.
Yeah, we played a few in Connecticut. Not a whole heck of a lot. Definitely a tune-in one. I know. Maybe a couple others. Oh, what was that place? That big place, LNG.
New
Yeah, we
London.
played there too. Yeah,
Yep.
And and we actually played. I guess not that long ago, like around 2002 to 2014. We played again. And then Andy was asked to rejoin All Out War, and he just got really busy.
Yeah.
So, and then we started doing Dissolve right around the same time again. So we just, but we're all still friends. We'll probably end up doing that again. It's always been kind of like a shits and giggles kind of band, just to have fun. But that and a bunch of other stuff. Some like solo stuff I've done too.
Cool.
Here and there. Yeah.
I remember just like, and they're still kind of like, they still do really well. All Out War was just like, interchangeable members of all those different guys from the area. But like when they were in there.
Oh, everybody spent a little bit of time in that band. Jose was in there for a minute.
Yeah, there was interchangeable End of One members that went into All Out War and back and forth.
Well, Taris is still there.
Yep. I just remember like that being like one of my, like you guys, All Out War. Like you guys All Out War in freaking Johnning Room. That show happened a lot.
Oh yeah, we played together a lot. I remember those three bands. Not as much as you would think, though. It's really funny when I think back, because I think All Out War. Once they got like on Victory, they were touring the country. They were leaving Europe. Like they had gone up a level. It was the same thing. I think. Like when Hatebreed started, I feel like we played with Hatebreed constantly. And then they came out with that Victory record, and boom, they were gone.
And then they they did that Universal record, and then they were just like a different level.
They're on a different level.
And then they kind of just like stayed there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're still there.
They're still there.
It's so crazy.
They're still, man, they're still doing great, man. One of the last time, I think maybe the last time they played the Chance. I went a couple times to see the Chance. Maybe the last couple of times, and it's just unbelievable how many people come out to see them. It's just so packed, and it's so great because Matt is from our area.
He is.
And everything, and it must be so cool for him to like play to like the packed chants like that, you know, whatever.
That's like his home.
Because Matt, nobody's packing the chants anymore, dude. It's just you.
When I saw them at Mohegan, like Jamie was introducing the band to the crowd, and he was like, "Yeah, we're all fucking Connecticut guys." Except for this guy, Matt Byrne on the drums, and like all these people started like freaking out and clapping for him. But yeah, like they have that band has went through a lot of different members that we both know. Like you know, like a lot of different people came in and out of that band, and they just did like that. When people think of Connecticut hardcore, that's what people think about.
Yeah, it's really funny. I think I saw one of the first Hatebreed shows, and it was at. I don't know if you remember, but there was a place in Brewster, like we mentioned, called the Boardwalk.
I remember.
You remember hearing?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was really kind of like a teen club, I think.
Yep.
And they threw shows there. I know we played there before too, but I went there. We didn't play. I went there. I think it might have been that I heard Jamie had a new band.
Yep.
You know, because he was in Josta 14 and we played together and stuff. And I went out there to check out his new band. And they were like one of the openers, you know, and it was like nobody that's in the band now. Although, no, wait a minute, I think maybe Wayne. I think Wayne might have been in it way back then. And Wayne came back.
Yeah, Wayne was a founding member.
Yes, I think Wayne was in the band.
And then came back.
Yeah.
Larry Dwyer was in the band at that point. And I can't remember who Dave Russo was the drummer at that time. Because they played with him forever, and then Matt Byrne took over. And I think they might have had a couple people like fill in for a few shows.
They had people fill in. I think didn't Riggs spend a little time in there?
Yeah.
Riggs spent some time in there, and I think maybe the guy from Push Button Warfare,
Jamie.
Yeah,
yep, Jamie.
He was in it for a while.
Jamie McVeigh.
They've had some people. Yeah. But that original lineup, I remember, and it was crazy. Like they played. And it was it was very modest, you know. It was like their friends kind of mosh for them or whatever, and then they were a band that just played. You know, they played and played and played. I mean, what did it for them was tenacity. Yeah, I mean, they just fucking went for it.
Never gave up.
They never gave up, and they just kept playing and kept playing and kept playing. And they were on like every bill. They would try to jump on every bill, and it really paid off for them. It really worked. I remember they were a band that used to play, bottom of the bill, and then they played second, then they played third, and then they were playing after us, and then we couldn't even fucking play the shows they were getting.
Yeah. What the fuck does Rick do now? Is he still? He was in Madball for a minute.
Yeah, he was, and then he was. He's done a lot, kind of with that crowd of guys. See, I think he might have spent a little time with Scarhead.
Yep.
And Sub-Zero.
Yep.
Last time I saw him play was we played with him we played with Sub-Zero, and he was in the band.
A couple years ago when they came back for a couple run of shows,
yes.
Right? Lou, yep, Lou DiBella. Yeah, I remember. Did he play in All Out War for a minute? For like maybe a couple?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to ask. Maybe.
Dude, it's so weird.
Matt Byrne was in All Out War
for a minute.
Yep.
I remember a couple years ago going down to New York for, I forget who I was with, but I went to dinner with somebody. We were staying in a hotel or something. And I remember just walking down the street, going to like a museum or going to like a parking garage to get my car. And I'm walking by this place and I just start seeing people, Mike Score, Rig, couple other people, and I just walked right by a weird New York hardcore show that I did not know was going on. Yeah, and they were like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing here?"
Crazy.
And I was like, "I'm about to go eat at this restaurant," and I like hung out with them for a minute, but I couldn't go to the show because I had like reservations at the restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
So like I went and ate, and then I walked back and like hung out outside the show. It was very strange.
Oh,
and
that's weird.
I didn't know that they were playing. Didn't see one thing online, a flyer or anything. And this is only within like the last 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was strange.
That is strange.
I felt like I was walking into like a portal. Like it was so weird. But yeah, man, fucking hardcore has been like we said, the cohesive glue that has held all these people together.
Oh yeah, it's a really interesting thing, and all of these people, all these people you've named, they're all people that I still kind of try to stay in touch with.
Yeah.
Here and there, even if it's just on Facebook or something. Yeah, hardcore is. Yeah, I mean it's where it's kind of led to just about everything in my life, which is weird.
And it's
You know, even my wife. I mean, I met my wife through. I was friends with her brother Brian, who I met through Beatle, who I met because of hardcore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So it's really kind of interesting. I could always kind of trace it back, to where it started, somewhere rooted in hardcore.
Everybody that I've met, like, through hardcore shows are, like, my longest running friends. Like, I have a couple people that I keep in touch with because I grew up with, like, before hardcore. And then all those people that I met from hardcore, I'm still in touch with. But everybody that I knew from school that wasn't into hardcore, or anybody I met after that, or there's even a lot of people like in the rap scene that I met years ago that I just really we fell out of touch. But like those people, like, I don't know, man, it's like just like it was a different time, and it was a different like don't get me wrong, like everybody values their friendships, but those ones you made at like hardcore shows, sweating together, listening to different music, like those are those people that have stuck around me for my whole life. It's a strange thing because you don't see that.
It is kind of a strange thing. It really is. Yeah, but I can honestly say the same thing.
I feel bad for kids that are coming up these days that aren't involved with stuff like that, because they won't have those bonds. But like young kids that are in hardcore, you see it, like they're always together. Even like dudes that are like 20, 25, like I know a bunch of kids that are younger, and they're always together.
They're always together. I know. The same here. I'm friends with some of those young guys, and they're just a crew that just rolls together constantly.
And it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully one day, maybe I'll have a child, and I would hope that he would take that route.
Yeah. Yeah, or find something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's it's definitely something. I mean, I remember the first time I heard hardcore music. It's something, it sounds corny, but it's a kind of thing that finds you. Yeah. It's weird, You have a daughter? I have a daughter and a son. Yep.
How old?
My daughter's 11 and my son is 6.
Yep. What's she into as far as music? Has she ever asked to be turned on to anything like that?
It's kind of interesting. I don't really know. She knows a lot of she knows some songs, like radio songs, pop songs, but she really she says she hates pop music. That's like her big thing. She's like, I hate pop music. I just don't like it at all.
God bless her.
But I'll walk by her room and she'll be listening to something that, like, one of our old CDs that'll bug me out. She's listening to like Cat Power. Or something like that. Where I'm like, wow.
Like that's not.
She's like some like little indie chick.
That's awesome. That's so cool, man. See, like that's what I would want.
Stuff like that it's really cool. I'm like, that's a pretty good record. All right, good.
Does she know all about like the hardcore scene, or like you and your band and stuff?
Yeah, she saw not Dissolve, but she saw, I mean, she's seen some YouTube videos, of that, but she saw Devil May Care when she was, I think, about 6. We played in a record store. It was like on like like record store day. Yep. We played at a record store in Poughkeepsie, Dark Side Records, which is great place. But she saw us, and she had like the big, like, gun muffler, hearing protection, whatever. So she saw, she has an idea what it's all about.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of record stores, that fucking Record City,
man.
You know that building fell down?
It did. I told you about that.
You sent me the pictures. That's crazy.
Dude, that shit is crazy. Record City, man, was really important to me when I was a teenager, though, because it used to be, I know around the time that you lived there, it was probably predominantly for like DJ purposes. Like a lot of people went there for like 12-inch, remixes and things like that. But it used to be in the 80s and probably like early 90s too. It was like a real like kind of head shop / weirdo underground music store.
Dude,
like you would go there and see like all kinds of old old hardcore records and things like that, and those guys, I would just go there. I remember I had a job at the mall, and I had to take the bus there. I didn't have a car. I used to take the bus, and I had to wait for another bus to come. It was like a transfer, and it was right there. And I used to go there and just hang out and talk to those guys, and they were so fucking weird.
Was Monster still there?
No, Monster wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
He wasn't there yet. Monster was probably pretty young at that point because
Yeah.
I was only like 17, and I'm a little older than Monster.
Yep.
But yeah, and then that's why it was really funny when Monster was there and Bones, was hanging out there, and I was like, oh shit, you guys hang at Record City?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that used to be my spot.
Dude, living above that shit was just one of the most crazy. That was probably the most out of control crazy time of my life.
I'm sure.
Like everything we got into, whether good or bad, kind of started out there, and I pulled that back into my life when I moved back to this area. But I remember just like the floor of the basement was littered with records that no one cared about. You couldn't see the floor in the basement.
Dude, that was amazing. I remember going down there. I can't remember why I was even allowed down there, but I think Monster let us down there. I could not believe the fucking rare antiquities there were.
Dude.
I mean, the record, some fucking crazy shit they had. Dude. And I was like, I think he took them to like shows or something. Like the owner took them to like record shows and sold them for really good money.
Yeah. The guy, I forget his name, but the owner would always set up like flea markets.
Yes.
But the thing is, like, hauling vinyl like that, dude, is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember when Monster worked there, it kind of took a turn towards rap.
Yes.
And he was getting in, like, you can't, like, back in the day, you could get a record that was like the front to back, A side, B side, all the songs on the record. But he was pulling in all those weird instrumental records where you could get the song, get the acapella, get the instrumental for DJs.
Yes.
And I remember getting so much shit from him, dude. Like, he would give us stuff, we would buy stuff. At that time of our life, me and Beetle were big into stealing CDs. So we would go to the mall, we would go to Circuit City, and I don't know how we did it, but we would each leave with like 20, 30, like, I remember him telling us that all he ever wanted to buy from us was NSYNC CDs and Andrea Bocelli.
No shit.
And he would give us
That's so funny.
He would give us like $5 or $7 per CD, and he would turn around and sell them at the flea markets or in the record store for more.
Wow.
And that's how we kind of fueled our drug habit at the time.
Oh, wow. Stealing CDs.
Stealing CDs. And stealing Dungeons and Dragons, the hardcover like game like books.
Really?
Yeah, we remember. You know the what the hell was it? There was an actual comic store on Route 9 in Wappingers Falls. If you're going north, it was on the right. Beetle knew the owner.
Dragon's Den.
Dragon's Den.
Yes.
So the guy from Dragon's Den would tell us to go to all the area Borders and Barnes and Noble, steal as many Dragons and Dungeons instructional books that we could, and he would give us good money.
No shit.
And that's what we did at the time. You know what I mean? And
that's fucking crazy.
We would do that for them. We'd do the CDs for Monster, and we had jobs and shit. Like we would come see you at Subway.
Yep.
I remember for years, well, I only lived there for about a year and a half, but I remember having no money, working these weird jobs. Do you remember one of the somebody had a brother named Anson? Do you remember Anson? And he did like framing. I did framing up there, and then I started doing insulation with Jose.
Oh, okay.
And I remember just like having no money. And we would come to Subway, and you would feed us every day for weeks at a time.
I know.
Like, we were just two skinny maniacs, just, doing our thing every day with if we had money, we knew where it was going.
Right.
And you would be like, yo, come and eat a fucking grinder. Like, come and fucking eat a grinder.
Yeah.
And I remember smoking pot in the back room of that Subway, and the whole Subway smelled of pot. You didn't give two shits.
I don't know why we didn't think it was obvious.
Dude, it was so strange, and like you just didn't give a fuck because you knew we were safe there.
Right.
And I remember like you never really chastised us for what we were doing, but you always like opened the door and like just let us like, came in, gave us food, and I just remember being like, dude, Paul's such a fucking nice guy. Like, he's keeping us alive right now, like giving us the fucking 6-inch footlongs and shit.
Honestly, I was just it's weird. Maybe because I was just like a couple of years older than you guys. I was concerned.
Yeah.
I was very concerned about all you guys because I was like, oh, man. But I never wanted to be the guy that was like, I always hated it when people would lecture me. So I never wanted to lecture anybody. Be like, you got to get off them drugs, kids.
Yep.
I wasn't exactly a great role model for that anyway. But yeah, I was just always very concerned about you guys. I was just like, I kind of wanted to take care of you.
Yeah, you did. There was a lot of people in our lives at that point that did, like Darren Brass and Pete when Brass City Tattoo opened up and I worked up there. Like they knew exactly what I was doing, but they never kind of really like called me out on it or like chastised me, but they always gave me a place they gave me a job, they gave me a place to stay when I needed it, they gave me food. Steve Karp from Yuppie Side, do you remember him?
Oh yeah.
He owned a tattoo shop in Plainville called Custom Culture, and at the time, and I think this is way before I moved out there, but we were still dabbling in weird shit,
right,
like ketamine and fucking pain pills and shit. And I remember him like pulling me and somebody else aside at like Custom Culture and giving us like a total dad drug talk.
Wow.
But the thing was, he's been straight edge his whole fucking life, I believe.
Okay.
And he just was like, he wasn't a dick about it, but he gave us the whole like, I gotta be, if I don't tell you this, I'm not doing my job as like an older, influential dude, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I just remember, now looking back on that, I'm so happy that those things happened, because there were so many people that just turned a blind eye and didn't give a fuck, or didn't talk to us anymore because of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the funny thing was, like, back then I lost a lot of friends over shit like that, but after I got clean, they all came back. Because people don't know how to deal with stuff like that. And back then they didn't.
Yes.
It was an awkward thing to talk about. It was
Yeah.
like your parents giving you the sex talk.
Right.
Like, it went undone because they didn't know how to do it.
Yes.
And now that's what I do with my life. Like, I know how to do it. So I'm constantly pulling people aside and being like, I'm not going to chat. Like, I'm not lecturing you, but this is what I went through, and it was very hard.
Right.
So if you ever need to talk to somebody about it, I'm that guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I do it for like young kids that I know in the hardcore scene and shit like that. But like, I just remember like never had like, I don't know, like all those people like you, those guys from Brass City, fucking dude, even like dudes like Ian Keeler.
Yeah.
Been through it, talked to us about it, and kind of like hammered it home.
Yeah.
And we learned that way. We learned the hard way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's just I don't know, man. It's like this generational like hierarchy in the hardcore scene. It's just like, it's followed. It's like a thing. It's almost like the army. You're not going to talk back to the guys above you, because they know what has happened and what goes on in your life when you're doing shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's fucking living in Poughkeepsie at that time was a very strange period of time for me.
It was a very strange period of time for Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
I felt like there was something that happened. I think in the early days, everybody was really into LSD.
Yep.
Like LSD. Poughkeepsie was firmly in the grips of the lysergic. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just like the history there. I mean, Timothy Leary had a house in Millbrook nearby.
Right in Millbrook. Yeah.
But it was a really big thing. And I think even like in the early 90s, there was a little bit of a crossover in the hardcore scene with the rave scene.
Yes.
So things got really weird like that. Ecstasy too was another thing. It was like and it was weird. I remember playing a show. It was around 1994, and Mad Hostel was on the bill. Mad Hostel, Withdrawn, Dismay, and Dead Guy.
Yep.
And us.
Okay.
And we played last. And I remember the lights were being done by these guys who did lights at raves.
Yep.
So a lot of kids kind of, and they did a few shows at the Chance that we played where they set up the lights. They liked Dissolve. They had this vision for doing these weird lights for us or whatever. And dude, it was some bugged out shit.
Yeah.
Really trippy, fucked up lights. And a lot of these kids, there was like I said, there was that crossover with the rave scene. So a lot of kids came, and there was so much acid at this show. Everybody there was tripping. It was so crazy.
I remember spending many a night me, Eric, Bones, Beetle, tripping our fucking faces off, whether it was mushrooms or acid.
Or acid, yeah.
And I remember one time going up to the Chance to watch Section 8. And for some reason at that time, like, they were my favorite band.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was kind of being risque and trying to, like, get out of the, like, traditional hardcore scene, but they were, like, what I was listening to at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember I went up there, and me and Beetle ate a bunch of mushrooms. And I remember moshing so hard that I didn't hurt anybody. I was hurting myself. I was moshing so hard that it felt like my arms were being separated from my torso, and this huge bouncer just came over to me, grabbed me around the waist, opened up that side door where the fire escape is.
I know exactly where that is. Yeah.
Put me outside and locked the door.
Wow.
Didn't tell me why he was doing it, but he knew I was a liability to everybody around me and myself.
Wow.
And then I just stayed outside. The dead of summer, the fucking heat was blaring.
Yep.
And I was just on a fucking psychedelic death ride outside.
Wow. I've been on those.
Dude. And I remember that sort of thing happening multiple times up there. Like, where we would go up for the weekend and just take a bunch of acid with Bones and sit around and draw in our fucking black book and draw weird shit and spend time in that weird apartment. And we smoked a lot of dust at that time.
Oh my God, yes.
And I don't know if me or you ever were in a situation like that together. I think we might have been at one point. I don't remember, but I remember. I just remember, like, being functional, leaving the house, going to shows, having conversations with people, having people look at us fucking crazy because we told them what we were doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like it was a thing. Like it was like not no one cared, but like it was like a happening. People were doing it all the time.
Oh, all the time. It was a constant thing. You'd always you go to the mall or something and you'd run into some people. They'd all be tripping.
Yeah.
You know, you go to a park and there'd be a bunch of people tripping in the park. It was like fucking Woodstock.
You know what? The last time I fucking even was in the presence of someone on psychedelics, I can't even tell you.
I can't even tell you either. And it occurs to me from time to time, and I'm just like, wow, that was a very unique period of time, because I don't think it's like that so much anymore. And things happen though after a while. As you got more towards the like mid to late 90s, things got a little darker.
Yeah.
And people started doing harder drugs.
That's what we did.
Yeah, and I always kind of stayed with the soft, fluffy drugs.
You
I guess.
You didn't take that turn.
No, I didn't take that turn. Everything. My dad actually had friends that had been heroin addicts who had gone down a very, very dark path. So he like very early gave me some pretty good drug talks, and they were, and I have to say, you know, Dad, if you're listening to this, you did a great job on the drug talk stuff, because he spoke from experience.
Yep.
He would say, he'd be like, I've seen what it does. This is what it is. This is what it does. This is what it looks like. He's like, can you just imagine putting something in your arm? Just think about that. And just think about that being something that's normal to you.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. And and talking about, you know, how, you know, one of his best friends who, like, you know, just one day disappeared. He still didn't really know what happened to him. You know, things like that. And that kind of stuck with me, you know, whatever. So whenever, and believe me, it was when every friend you have is doing this thing, you know, it makes you curious.
Yep.
And I was very curious a lot of times, where I was just like, sometimes I was in the same house with it and I was like, I got money in my pocket. Maybe this is the day I could give this thing a whirl or whatever. But I would always just kind of talk myself just out of it, you know? So I never even tried it or got myself into that situation. But it was and a lot of people don't believe me when I say that, because I'm from Poughkeepsie in that time.
Yeah.
You know, and hung out with all you dudes.
Yep.
And they were like, you really never did it, dude?
Yep. You didn't.
I didn't, though.
I just, and
you know? And it wasn't, and you know what's funny about it is that, you know, with things like acid and things like and you know, pot and things like that, it's very communal.
Yeah.
You're all together doing it, but that is something that is done out of view. and it's and maybe you'll back me up on this, and it's kind of more of a selfish thing.
Yep.
You know, where it's like, even if you're getting it for somebody else, you're skimming a little off the top of yourself.
Yep.
And things like that. It's a little bit different. It's not like somebody would be like, hey, Paul, you want to try some of my heroin? You know, it's like, no, my heroin is my heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in that respect, it was good. And I almost kind of got the impression that when things started getting bad for people, they didn't want me to do heroin.
No.
Like the people who were really into it, because I think they were like, yeah, I'm in this world now, and you don't want to be in this world.
Yep.
So I kind of got that impression. So it's really kind of weird how much perspective that I really have on addiction and these things, because of everything that my friends have gone through and family members, you know. But yeah, it's a hell of a thing that happened.
Yeah.
You know, some people, you know, like yourself, you know, Beetle, a lot of people I know, you know, got themselves out of it, and it's awesome. I mean, that's like God, it's such an achievement.
Like, I know I know a lot of people that have been addicted and still are.
Yeah.
Or have died.
Or died.
And there's like the stories like me and Beatles are far and few between of somebody spending so much time in it and then coming out the other side not unscathed but alive.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's like, I do this work every day.
Right.
And even in my industry, when I have a patient in my field, when I have a patient that does the same thing that I've done,
right,
it's rare. It's a revolving door, or you die. And when I have somebody, or I see a friend, or even a patient that like goes on to live a drug-free life afterwards,
right,
it's an accomplishment for everyone,
right,
involved in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look back on how easy it was for me to say yes that first time, and I'm just like, what were you thinking? Because you know why? I didn't have any examples. Like, your dad gave you that talk. I don't think my dad ever thought I would do anything like that.
Right.
My mother gave me the acid talk.
Okay.
However, I had already taken acid about 30 times.
It's too late, Mom.
She came to me one time and she goes, will you make me a promise? I go, yeah. She goes, just promise me you'll never take acid. And I was just like,
wow.
I was like, fuck, like, what do I do now? Like, and she goes, I don't even think I promised. She just started talking again. And she was like, because I had a friend whose son took acid and he's now in the institution of living. And that's this place in Hartford. It's just like, you know, a psych ward, like,
oh wow,
you know, kind of like when someone flew over the cuckoo's nest kind of like vibe, you know what I mean?
Well, it can unlock some stuff that's already there
forever, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I just had a strong brain at the time, but like I just remembered having it be one of the most eye-opening and like mentally nourishing things that I'd ever done. Like, I kind of look back and being like, would I be this bland person if I never opened up that part of my pineal gland?
I think the same thing. I really do. That actually, I think about that a lot, where once that's opened, it stays open.
Yeah.
And you do get to a point. It's not a kind of drug that you get addicted to. It's something that after a while you're just kind of finished with. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I can let that go. And
I did it. Yeah. I saw, I conquered, and now I don't need to do it. You know, right. I would lose my mind if I took acid as a 40-year-old person.
No way. There's too much responsibility now. There's too many things that would be on your mind.
You look back
when you're a kid. Yeah, I mean, it's just pure. It's a pure experience, you know.
Like when you take it, you overthink, and all those skeletons come out of the closet,
right?
And that's all you think about. As a teen, when I was doing it, I didn't have all those bad experiences to worry about,
right?
But I remember, you know, moving back from Poughkeepsie, and you know, I moved out of Poughkeepsie because I was scared of the way I was going, and plus I had didn't have the job had ended when I was doing the framing and the installation with Jose. You know, the band kind of got weird because of the use, and we all stayed friends. But I moved back to my parents' house. But once I moved back to Hartford, I found out that Hartford was the heroin mecca.
Oh my God!
And it was easier because out there you had to give somebody money. They went and saw a guy that went and saw a guy, and maybe in a couple hours it would come back to you.
Right.
I found out in Hartford that could go anywhere and meet anybody and get it like that.
Right.
And that's when it took a turn for me, because it was readily available, and then I found out how and where to get it, and that consumed the next 7 years of my life.
Wow.
And I got heavily into cocaine also.
Oh, Jesus.
And I stayed like that for 7 years. But like, I just remember moving back and being like, okay, I'm out. I don't need, I'm going to keep this in check.
Right.
But I just was that curious still, you know, and I took, that's the path I took. But, it was just, you know, I always think back, like, what would my life be like if that never happened?
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I think I know. It's kind of interesting because every once in a while I get together with my old friends, and we like kind of recently got together. You know, all the old friends that were like we were really tight when we were young, and it's really interesting to see where we all are now. Mm-hmm. And there's always like those couple of people that just didn't get past that.
Yep.
You know, and you're like, and you just wonder how much longer things are going to go the way they are before something really good happens or something really bad happens. Either they come out of it and they truly get the help they need, or and it, you know, it's funny, but it has to and I'm sure you'll attest to this. A lot of people can reach out and say lots of things to you, but it's a choice you have to make to get better.
You'll like at that time, and I talk about this to patients and my friends that are using, like, you don't stop until you want to stop.
Yeah.
You know, people that told me to stop back then, and I was just like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to, like, and that's why I tell people, like, you're not going to stop until you're ready. You're not going to stop because your parents tell you to stop. You know what I mean? And going back to what we were talking about, your dad's talk, like, my dad, I don't think gave me that talk because I don't think he ever was going to take that route.
Right.
I didn't have a family member or one of my dad's friends that I saw. I didn't even know in high school what heroin was.
Right.
And then as I got older, I found out it was like a stronger version of Percocet or Vicodin that you could do. It was an opioid, but it was like an illicit street drug, not a pharmaceutical.
Right.
But as like a teen, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was post-DARE. Like, there was DARE.
Yeah.
But like,
you were post-DARE.
I was post-DARE. And
like I was more DARE.
I didn't.
That was more my era. Yeah.
I didn't no one ever gave me the talk. Like, if my mom had a friend who was fucked up on heroin and she could have brought me in front of him and be like, that's what this does to you.
Right.
I might have like not went the way I went.
Yeah.
If I knew about people that had died, I might not have went that way. But when I was in high school, there was one person that died and we didn't even know him like that.
Right.
I didn't know what it looked like.
I knew the guy, one of the guys or whatever that my dad used as an example, and he was definitely one of my favorite friends of my dad.
Yep.
So he kind of used him as an example because that guy was out of our lives pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of had something to go on, you know, with that. So yeah. Another thing, you know, it's really weird with heroin. Another deterrent for me, and this may seem like an odd deterrent, but the movie Sid and Nancy. Did you ever see that fucking movie?
I've never seen Sid and Nancy.
That movie came out.
Yeah, I have.
That movie came out, I think, at a really important time when I was like a young teenager, like maybe like 14 or so. And I watched it. And let me tell you, there is no other movie that really shows you just nothing but bad shit about heroin. Like, it's that movie. Like, there's no pleasure in that movie from heroin. They only show people fucked up and strung out and at the end of their rope. And I think that was like, whenever I thought of heroin, I thought of my dad's talk, and I thought of Sid and Nancy, and that somehow kept me from ever really trying it. And I came very close a few times, you know, just because everybody was doing it. It seemed like, you know, and people would describe it as being pleasurable, you know.
For me, the movie was Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, God.
But the thing about that was...
That's a brutal one.
I had already started.
Yeah.
So, like, I was, like, high watching that movie.
Oh, my God.
And it was kind of really, like... It was weird, because, like, I'm doing this thing, and now I'm watching this movie that's showing you about how it could rip your life apart.
Yeah.
And just watching it and not making the connection.
Oh wow, Ben.
You know
That's
what I
crazy.
mean?
Yeah.
And then because like maybe if I saw that before I started,
Yeah.
it would have deterred me. But then I saw it after I started and it just scared me, but I kept
Right.
going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was another one. It was before the movie came out. I read that book,
Yep.
Requiem for a Dream, when I was probably in my 20s, probably right around the time that everybody was doing heroin. So that was another thing. That's another deterrent, that
Yep.
book. That's a good book for people to read if they're thinking about trying heroin.
Like Train Spotting was kind of like almost a dark comedy about it.
Yeah.
There was bad things about it, but I don't know if they glorified it, but it made it like, it almost made it cool.
It almost made it cool. It did.
But-
I mean, they definitely show a lot of very dark things.
Yeah.
That could happen. But at the same time, they really, really hammed up how funny and the funny experiences you can have, and
Yeah.
So in a way, it glorified a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing is now, man, the game ain't the same.
No, it's different than.
It's
than-
totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's downright deadly now.
And I always tell people, like, I don't really share my past with my patients.
Okay.
However, I do work in Bristol, in the town I grew up in. And if they are from that era, they know me.
Oh.
But yet they're not my patient. They might be a patient of another counselor because I won't let them on my caseload if they know me from that era.
Oh, okay.
Yet that doesn't stop them from seeing me in the lobby and yucking it up and talking about high school and weird times. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I tell everybody, man, it's like it ain't the same, because if I was using today, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
It ain't the same. It's not the same. It's like this whole fentanyl epidemic is just killing people.
It's killing people. Yeah, there are a lot of people in my area. It's horrible. A lot of deaths constantly.
And it's just like, if I were doing what I did back then now, like I had no stop. I had no stop sign. Like
Right.
I had no red light. It was just go, 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 go. You got money? Go, 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 go.
Right.
You don't have money? You're going to spend a day sick. But the paycheck is going to come around, or you're going to go and steal some shit or find some money, and then you're going to go, 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 go.
Right.
And like, I see people living that life.
Yeah.
And all I can do is, encourage them. I don't give them advice. I encourage them to give themselves advice.
Right.
And I provide them with examples, and I provide them with education and harm reduction shit. Like, if you are going to continue to use, here's an address of a place where you can go get a free box of clean needles.
There you go.
So you don't have to fucking puncture your fucking veins with these fucking dead, like, shitty needles that you've used 30 times.
Right.
Because that's what we used to do. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's definitely and in the hardcore scene, it is. We both know people. We
Yeah.
have a lot of people that like took that turn and they like passed away. And
Yeah.
it's fucking
Well, they either passed away or
dwindled them down
Yeah.
to nothing.
Yeah.
Because I know people that have gotten clean, but certain things that happened in their life that made it very sad and hard to live.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is the thing. And I think sometimes people get clean and then there's the mess that they have to clean up afterwards. And that can get the best of you.
And that could last for years.
Yeah.
Like me, I was fortunate to go to rehab and spend a good amount of time there and come out on the other side and build my life back to what it was.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. There's some people from that era that, I hurt, that I don't keep in touch anymore. And whatever, like, that happened. But
Right.
I feel like some other people can get themselves into situations like they might have gotten a divorce, or family has excommunicated them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was lucky enough to have everybody come back into my life and open up, like friends, parents, my brother, like
Right.
let me back in because they knew the real Ben before heroin.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't get that doesn't happen to for people with their family and their friends, like the bond isn't that strong, and they keep them estranged, and they don't care if you're doing well.
Right.
They're just going to keep you away because they know what you did at that time.
Right.
And it's got a lot to do with like what you do afterwards, because you can be clean and still be a piece of shit. And we know that.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
You can get clean, and if you turn your life around and you start to do good things and just like show improve,
Right.
then that's one thing. But you can still stop using, but still keep living that life of deception and hurting people, and it's almost like you've never stopped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But damn, dude, we just got real morbid.
Yeah, man. It took a dark turn.
What are we going to talk about now to bring it back? We're going to turn to wrap it up. But what can we talk about now to end on a happy note? We got to do it. We can't end like this.
I know. I hear you. Well, I mean, things really... It's funny, though, but, I feel like, Poughkeepsie went through this, like, dark time there. And it was really kind of around that time that things started changing with Dissolve, too. Where we got our drummer Todd joined the band sometime around 98, and things started to kind of like change for us, like musically too. Yep. And it was weird because I think maybe we started. Maybe that's around the time that maybe we took like a left turn and hardcore took a right. Yep.
Yeah, you guys kind of stepped out of the box and stayed there.
Yeah, and it was weird, and we just kind of stuck to our guns, and we were like, we liked what we were doing, so we just kept doing it, and it was an interesting time because there were people that were sticking with us, and then some people weren't. And then we started to kind of pick up new people at that point. And there are people who kind of like that stuff better. Yep. The like later stuff and kind of newer stuff, but we were just always, yeah, you're right. We jumped out of the box and stayed there.
There was a couple bands that went the way you guys did. Like there was traditional hardcore bands.
Right.
There was like heavy New York hardcore bands.
Right.
There was bands like you guys that like stepped out of the box and kept it weird, but all the hardcore kids were still into it because it was heavy.
Right.
And it was good and it was heartfelt. It wasn't a cookie cutter thing. Like you guys hit the stage. I remember just loving Dissolve, like because it was so different.
Yeah.
And for a while, you guys had like the drums were almost jazzy.
Yeah.
Like the fucking drum line didn't stay the same throughout the whole song. There was like it changed up 12 fucking times.
Yeah.
And then it just hit a heavy fucking part, and the fucking room went crazy with people moshing. And I just remember just loving that energy.
Yeah.
And a lot of hardcore bands weren't doing that because it was like and then it was done.
Right.
And you guys changed so much things throughout the songs.
Yeah.
And then there was bands like Overcast that were kind of like hardcore bands, but they were dark, but it wasn't metal, but it was still weird.
Right.
And I loved shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there was bands like Vision of Disorder.
Yep.
That like didn't take that weird, dark, spooky thing and didn't do your guys' thing, but they were kind of doing this other thing that hardcore people found appealing.
Right.
But it also turned off other people. They didn't like what they were doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then you got bands like Madball and Hatebreed that kept that strong hardcore thing that like, and they built off of that.
Right.
But I love it when a band will build and just go right or left.
Right.
Out of the box, stay there and evolve from there. You know what I mean? And then shit can get weird and shit can get experimental.
Right.
And you could start adding electronic elements into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I fucking, as just like a weirdo that likes all kinds of weird music, I just always like appreciated stuff like that. And there weren't many people, especially from your area, that did that.
Right.
I remember Poughkeepsie as being like End of One, All Out War, and these were like bands that flirted on the edge of metal.
Right.
Metalcore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call you guys metalcore. I wouldn't call you hardcore. I would call you hardcore as you started, but I don't even think I could pin you guys down.
I know.
It's always been Dissolve.
It's weird too because I think that's kind of been a problem with us too, because I think people really want to do that.
Yeah.
They really want it to be kind of categorized, and I think it's hard for people to just kind of let go. I mean, even now, it's like you look, there are so many different subgenres of heavy music.
Yep.
And we don't fit into any of them. Like even with these new songs that we have, I mean, there's thrash, there's sludge, there's grind, there's the elements of all of it, but it's not any one of those things. It's just kind of, I don't know.
The closest that I could ever compare you guys to another band, and I don't know if this is a diss or like something cool, was Candiria.
Oh yeah, Candiria, great.
Because they had the same, not the same format, but that drummer could do anything.
Yeah.
Your guys' drummer at the time could do anything.
Yeah.
And it just went like that. And I know you guys didn't have any fucking horns.
No,
any ska parts, but
Right.
like that band was so strange because it would be like these chuggy parts, but then it would be these hectic, weird jazz parts.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I know that there was like a couple songs with a weird horn in it.
Yep.
And it was just, you can't pin them down. You can't put them into like a genre. It's
Oh
very
no,
weird.
it's Candiria music.
Yeah.
That's
It's
definitely
Candiria
true.
music.
Yeah, it is. It's Candiria music. Yeah.
Like a band like The Locust.
Yeah.
And a band like Daughters. That's grind.
Yeah, kinda.
But
The
you
new
could,
what did you hear that new Daughter stuff?
no.
No, it's pretty good.
Really?
It's different though. I mean, they're really. It's funny because I think the name of their record is "You're Not Going to Get What You Want."
Yep.
And yeah, like you're not going to get what you're expecting.
Like-
definitely, like the songs I heard were a little bit of a turn away from what they were doing, but pretty bugged out, pretty out there.
Anal
Yeah,
Cunt.
I dug Anal Cunt.
Remember?
Yeah, we played with Anal Cunt once. They were hysterical.
Yeah.
I remember that guy getting beat up by hate breed people.
Yeah. At the Palladium.
Yeah. We played that show.
Dude, I was there.
Yeah.
And I was standing in the back, and I remember him and Jamie having some sort of beef.
Yeah, they had a beef, I believe, because Hatebreed switched places with them on the bill, and they had to play after Hatebreed or something. It was something like that. And that guy, I think, stood up front and just heckled them the whole time.
And I remember Jamie, and maybe like this is probably one of the more irresponsible things he's done as like a big front man for a big band. But I remember him like calling him out and like directing the crowd to beat him up.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And I just remember standing in the back and watching just this swarm of young hardcore kids beat up Anal Cunt.
Yeah.
And then there was like, I just remember like the set ending and everybody going outside and the next band played, and I don't know what happened after that.
Well, you know what the funny thing is that dude got arrested.
Dude,
That's the thing that was crazy. I know we saw him getting put in a cop car and everything. We're like, oh, okay. But didn't that guy just get his ass kicked by like 20 people?
and then he got arrested. Like, that was a strange time because like that upstairs to the Palladium was so weird.
Yeah.
Like the downstairs was really big.
Yes.
And that upstairs, for what it was also big.
Yeah, it was pretty big. I think that was like a 600 person capacity or something. It was actually a pretty big room.
Was Kid Dynamite from Canada?
I don't know.
There was two bands that I always get interchanged and like fucked up, and it's Kid Dynamite and another something about a champion or something, but I think it was Kid Dynamite, and I saw that, and I was not a fan. I went with a bunch of people that were fans. Do you remember Shannon Rasavi? Do you remember Dave from Divided by Hate? Dave Castellino?
Oh yeah.
She kind of grew up where he lived in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Okay.
And I remember the whole group of people would go to shows, and she dragged us to this Kid Dynamite show, and I just don't remember being into them.
Right.
But for some reason, she knew the guy, and we got to like stand on the back of the stage. Okay. And I remember at that time, those fucking kids went ape shit.
Wow.
Like I just mean like churning. Like the crowd was on top of each other, like it was constantly moving. There was no pit. It was just people like jumping all over each other through the whole set between songs. And I just remember being like, this is kind of crazy.
Wow.
And the only time after that I've seen anything like that happen was the first American Nightmare reunion, probably about 7 years ago in Revere, Mass. It was one of the most insane, iconic, hardcore things that I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
I'm talking a place bigger than the downstairs of the Palladium. Thousands of kids.
Jesus.
Zero room for a pit in the middle. People moshing at the way in the back where the bar was.
That's crazy.
And I just remember them like ringing out like, and then as soon as that first drum hit, fucking love is all that we ever had, and I was putting my phone like out, and I caught maybe like a 8-second clip, and it's just hundreds of kids stage diving at the same time, just getting on stage and going and going.
Wow.
It looked like a waterfall of hardcore kids. And I just remember, like, I'll never see that again.
Yeah, I know that's it's a rare thing, you know. Yeah, I think one of on a much smaller scale, there was a show, and it's really funny because Aaron mentioned it as being his first hardcore show. Was a Chain of Strength Turning Point show at the Anthrax.
Yep.
And I remember like listening to your podcast and being like, dude, I was there too.
Yep.
Yeah. But that show, I remember that show. Like Chain of Strength, I was kind of on the fence about them. You know, I thought their records were pretty good, you know, but then when I saw them play and the freaking insane response they got and how constant it was fucking great. I love Chain of Strength. Like after that show, I look at them as one of my favorite straight edge bands, you know, whatever. But man, it was fucking nonstop fury, and it was just like, you know, it would only like, and they kept it going, like it would momentarily stop, and then, you know, drumsticks click and all start again. You know, the whole time, so freaking crazy, you know. But that was, of course, on a much smaller scale, but that's one of those shows that I think back on as being like just very intense the whole time. I mean, there's been bands that I saw that musically intense that people just didn't get yet. You know what I mean? Like at the Anthrax, I saw Inside Out. You know, and that was a band that, and they got a pretty good response. There's like a YouTube clip of it, you know, whatever, if you look it up. They got a pretty good response, but they weren't really known yet. Like their 7-inch wasn't out yet. But I couldn't fucking believe how intense the band was. You know, but the crowd just hadn't caught up, you know, whatever. I think if it was like a few months later after their record came out, it would have been a different story. You know, because now that's like a legendary record. And stuff like that, you know.
I remember seeing old videos of like Youth of Today.
Oh, God, those shows were crazy.
And that's about as close as it gets. Like that's like constant straight edge, crazy youth crew dudes going crazy from that first fucking drum hit all the way to the last.
Well, I'll tell you something that a lot of like older guys don't really, they don't say enough, and I think is really true, is that, you know, because a lot of older guys will tell you, oh, the new kids don't understand, it was so much crazier back then. It's crazier now, dude. It's crazier now. People go so much fucking crazier. Like I watch those Mind Force videos and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not there.
Dude, I have hurt myself so many times. Like I will never mosh again. But during my early 30s into like 35, like probably like early 30s, I remember like starting to hit a wall when it came to like moshing, dancing, doing crazy shit. And I remember there was this place that was almost across the street from Brass City Tattoo in Waterbury. I think it was called Bobby Allen's. It burnt down.
Oh, Bobby Allen's. We played there. It was awesome.
Did you guys play that weird, like it was like a Connecticut Brotherhood Fest and Overcast played? So did Blacklisted.
We played there with the Overcast. I don't know if it was that show though.
There was two good shows there. It was the one with Blacklisted, and there was the one with you guys.
I don't think we played the Blacklisted one. We played Overcast, us, and oh god, what was the name of that band? I can't remember. God, oh, forget it.
So,
but it wasn't that Blacklisted one.
Overcast was playing, and I don't know what had happened, but I remember like back in the day, like hurting my back at one point. And I remember I was just in the pit, and I like just standing on 2 feet, and I like kicked my foot up into the air. Just a little too hard, and just like couldn't stand up straight for like 2 days. And that's kind of when I was like probably gonna take a backseat and let these younger kids do what they gotta do.
I have like with I'm currently retired too from moshing, and for me it was there were two things that led to it, and they both have to do. Then was both at Burn shows. Band Burn. First one was at the Black and Blue Fest in 2015 when they first got back together. It was their first show back together, and people went so fucking, and I moshed,
Yeah.
you know, and people went so crazy. They were doing what they really do now. Back when I was younger, people would do flips off the stage,
Yeah.
but it was to be caught.
Yeah.
People do flips off the stage now to hurt you.
Yeah.
Really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like put you in the hospital, hurt you.
Like a cannonball.
Like like freaking they flip so hard that their heels smash you.
Yeah.
And all I could do was bend over and let it happen to me.
Yeah.
And
Put your head down and hope it
put
hits your
head down
back.
and hope it hits your back, exactly. And hopefully not your kidney
Yeah.
or something and putting you in the fucking hospital. So like this happened like 3 or 4 times or whatever to me, and I got hit so bad that it actually kind of dislocated my sternum on the front of my body. And like it's so for like literally like I think about 2 years after that show, like every time I coughed or something, I'd have a pain in my chest, you know,
Jesus.
until it finally like kind of settled back together. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like it's not worth that.
Nope.
You know, so and then finally I think maybe about a year I didn't mosh or anything for a while, and then I moshed a little bit, like maybe just a little bit of light moshing.
Yeah.
You know, for when Burn played at the Chance, and it was a lousy show. It was They were great, but it was a terrible turnout. You know, whatever. They were on some fest. You know, whatever that everyone decided that just wasn't cool and didn't show up to. So, but Burn were playing, and I was dancing a little bit. And as I was leaving, I don't know if you remember him, but he's still there. He's always been like kind of like the head of security there, and he's a small guy, black guy, has white hair.
Yes.
And his name is Mr. Whitehead. Which is funny because he has a white head. He has a white head of hair, and he's the coolest guy. And and I see him around town all the time. He always stops and talks. He knows my kids now and stuff. We go a long time back. So he's just said to me as I'm leaving, he's like, dude, I was laughing at you. I was watching you. I was watching you like try to dance, and I was laughing at you, man. You can't swing that. You can't swing your arms like you used to. You need to give it up. And dude, I felt like so small.
Yeah.
As I was like slunk to my car, and I was like, it's all over for me.
He knew you were
like,
done.
He knew it. He was just like, and you know something though? I needed him to tell me that though.
Yeah.
He was like, dude, you made a fool out of yourself, so don't do that.
Don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
You don't want other people to see you do that.
Exactly. And luckily there was hardly anybody there to witness it, you know, because nobody showed up. So it was cool.
You bowed out gracefully.
I bowed out gracefully. Nobody knows. It wasn't like, Michael Jordan when he tried baseball, you know, or something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. Dude, I remember one time we had a show at the Chance, and it was like, we weren't a really big draw. A couple of people would come out from the area that liked End of One, and they made us do one of those like sell your tickets.
Oh yeah, they still do that to people, dude.
You know
it's fucking crazy.
You know what we did? Remember the fake fives?
I remember the fake fives.
We made so many fake fives, and we gave them
the fake fives. Oh my god.
We gave them all the fake fives, and no one ever asked. It was weird. And it was funny thing was a lot of the people that did the security at the Chance were like ex-cops.
Yeah.
No one caught on.
Oh my god.
I remember we stopped doing it because somebody got in trouble for something, but I remember we paid them for the, I don't know, like $250 that like we had to give them, and there was a couple real 20s in there, a couple real dollars,
right,
but mostly fake fives, and we kept all the real money, and we were just like, fuck you guys. I can't remember if it was Bones or somebody had like at the time like a really good like printer,
right,
and we found some kind of paper that was a little bit like the kind of like money is like almost cloth, like it's not like a paper, it's like a really tightly woven like real weird cloth. And I just remember we're going around Poughkeepsie fucking paying for everything. And I remember one day after me and Beetle, we are at the time our ritual was to go cop, get high, and then go to the Weird Mobile in Wappingers on the right hand side going north. And at the time Snapple was putting out those weird creamy flavors.
Yeah.
Do you remember those in the glass bottle?
Yep.
And for some reason we just loved to drink those when we were high. And I remember going in and giving the dude a fake five, and he kind of looked back at me. He was like this younger black kid. He goes, man, this fake money. And I go, really? I go, that's so strange. The guy at the fucking diner right there just gave me that for change. I'm going to go in there and figure this out. And I remember going to the car and boom, taking off.
Oh, shit.
Fake fives were done.
Yeah, that was it for fake fives.
Yeah, because we would have caught like a federal charge.
I know, dude. Holy shit. I remember the fake fives. I remember, like, I think Bones showed one to me with pride.
Yeah.
You know?
I think he was the one that made them. Rest his soul.
Oh, I love that guy so much, man.
I love him. I miss him so much, dude.
He was just, I mean, really just a part of like a daily life for so many years for all of us guys.
Yeah.
You know, Bones was just, he was just always there. I mean, he was like the kind of guy, it's really funny. I always say, like, Bones would come over to my house, we hang out for a while, we shoot the shit, we'd have a good time, and then he'd just be like, got bail.
Yep. Later.
Later. And, you know, then I'd see him like a day or two later. I see him out. We'd always hang out, and it was cool. He was always like that. He come to our practices and stuff. He'd come and just hang out, stay for like 2 or 3 songs, and be like, all right, I got bail. See you guys later. Yeah, gotta go. You know, whatever. But he was always there. There's so many like pictures of our shows with him him on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
And there, whatever. He was just, I don't know, man. I love that guy so much. I lost contact with him in the last like couple years of his life, and I feel really bad about that.
I think a lot of people did.
A lot of people, yeah. And I don't really know what he was doing. Like, I mean, I was busy having kids and shit, and, you know, and living a different life, and then I didn't even really know. Whenever somebody I know, they'd say, oh, you know, I saw Bones not that long ago, and he was asking about you. That was the common thing. How's Paul?
Yep.
You know, like he was always wanted to know, and it always made me.
He always gave a shit.
Yeah.
No matter what he did, he
Yeah.
always gave a shit. Because I remember when me and Beetle were using heavily, he was the one to be like, you two need to stop.
Yeah, I know, man.
And once we
I know.
stopped,
I remember he was really on you guys.
when we stopped, there was a couple years went by, and then he kind of fell into something.
I know,
and I
he
don't
did.
know if it was the same, but he was doing a lot of drinking,
Uh-huh.
and there was other like stuff involved,
Uh-huh.
and that's what ultimately took him.
Right.
But I just remember it being so ironic to me that he was the one that had our, like, he was the dad.
Yeah.
You two need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
And then once we did, he like life kind of got tough for him. You know, and we always kept in touch. And I remember there was a
Beetle actually became his dad.
Yeah.
During that time, like he was like, dude, you got to clean up your fucking act, you know, like that. And it was same thing that we've been talking about, but was very supportive of him, you know, be like, I'll help you out if you need it, but you got to clean up, you know, because Beetle, you know, he'd been doing good for a while at that point, you know, so he could be that person for Bones. But I remember even him saying, he was just like, yeah, I mean, I'm saying the same thing you said. It was just like, I can't believe this happened, that, you know, after we'd been through everything we've been through, that he would go through it.
Yep. I remember like there was probably like a good year where I didn't, he would reach out to me and I would always talk to him, and then he kind of went off the radar for a year. Yeah. And then he did come back, and I spoke to him, and then I remember he passed away, and we all went up there for the funeral, and there was a lot of people that hadn't seen each other for a while. There was a lot of people that weren't talking to each other at the same time, but we all went there, and we all went to the diner afterwards. And we just all ate a weird meal and fucking bullshitted and told our favorite Bone stories. And so I cried, you know what I mean? And some of these fucking tough motherfuckers cried, you know? And it was crazy, man. But like, it was just a really, really rough time, because like he would drive to Connecticut. Sometimes it felt like he would come down here a few times in a week. He was so committed to friendship.
He was,
and I loved him for that.
He really was, man. There was this one of my favorite Bone stories is, and it's Devil May Care. We were playing like the New England Metal Fest one year. This is many years ago, and I remember I couldn't go with the rest of the band. I was waiting for, like, my brother-in-law wanted to come, and it was something like holding him up or whatever, and I was just like, you guys go on ahead. I'll drive my car to the show and meet you guys there. So, you know, she's my wife now. She's my girlfriend at the time. You know, we pick up, my future brother-in-law, I guess, and, we drive to the show. So on the way to the show, I get in a car accident. Like this guy right around here, right around Hartford.
Really?
This guy on 84 rear-ended me.
Okay.
And smashed the shit out of the back of my car. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's actually, I had like an amp back there and everything, in the trunk. But luckily it wasn't, wrecked or whatever. My car was so fucked up. Mm-hmm. It was all like smashed in the back. But it was drivable. So after, the police come, we do the police report or whatever. And I drive to the show and I'm like really, really late. We're supposed to go on in like a few minutes, now or whatever. And those things run like clockwork.
Yeah.
Those festivals. So so Bones asks me if I need any help, bringing stuff in. I said, yeah, I got a couple stuff, some stuff in my trunk. So I come out and I'm telling him the whole story about everything that happened, because we met up with him at the show, whatever. And I'm saying, oh man, and then fucking brother-in-law was late, and then I had to take my own car. We got in a fucking car accident, and then I open up the trunk that was all smashed in. I opened it up, and by opening the trunk, it smashed out my whole back window, and like glass just like collapsed everywhere, all around. And I was sitting there. And I'm in shock, and I'm about to fucking explode, and Bones just like looks at me like out of the side of his eye and says, "This ain't your day, dude."
Holy shit!
I was like, and I just laughed.
Yeah.
It was like for the first moment, just the way he looked at me and said that, I just fucking died laughing. And he laughed too, because how fucking absurd is that shit? And then he and I like go into a fucking dumpster and pull out a whole bunch of like cardboard and like cardboard up like the back of my car and fucking so I could drive home and shit. But that's the kind of guy Bones was. Bones would go in the fucking dumpster for you to get the fucking cardboard, to make a makeshift window.
Yep. He my mother loved Bones. Like that's the kind of dude he was.
Yeah.
He was around that much that my parents knew him. Like he smoked pot with my dad. Like,
wow.
Like he was an installation to us for a long time. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite Bones stories was I don't know if I had gotten clean yet. I don't think so. But Sean Martin and Cage did an album together. I think I might have this is right around the time I might have been just out of rehab or just about to go into rehab. And he was like, yo, drive up to Poughkeepsie and get in with me, and then we're going to drive down to Red Hook, and these dudes are like recording. We're going to go hang out while they record.
Oh, cool.
And it was the dude that was recording the album for them was our friend Phil from Monster Magnet.
Whoa. And
it was me, Sean, Wes from American Nightmare, and Bones. And I think and Cage was also there. Mm-hmm. And we one of them asked him to bring him an ounce of weed. And he's like, okay, cool. So I get to Poughkeepsie. Bones grabs the weed. We fucking put it in the trunk. It's very pungent.
I'm sure.
We get in the car, his little like green Geo Prism. Yeah. And we go over the Hudson and we get on like New Jersey Turnpike or something. We're on our way. And he gets pulled over by a state trooper. And he pulls him over. Cop gives me a ticket for like not wearing my seatbelt. And he pulls Bones out of the car and he asks him to come to the back of the car, and he's like talking to him back there. And I'm like looking in the mirror and I could see the cop start going like like smelling.
Oh shit.
And he was a younger state trooper. Like he was like our age. And I remember him being like, you got any weed in the car? Dude, this car smells like weed. And Bones is like, he's like stuttering and shit. And the guy's like, if you got any weed in the car, I'm going to take it and I'm not going to arrest you. And Bones kind of like, you don't know if he was bluffing or if he just wanted the weed or if he just wanted to like get it for himself. Damn. But Bones just opens up the trunk and he just hands him the ounce of weed. Probably at the time cost about $300, $350. But Bones was selling a lot of weed at the time, so I don't think it really hurt him. Right. So the cop writes him a ticket for something, writes me a ticket, and lets us leave. And just takes off with the ounce of pot. And Bones is just like, do you think he wanted it for himself? Like, why didn't he arrest us? Like, and I was just like, I wouldn't even question it, dude. Like, we fucking got off. Right. So he's like, well, we got to go back and get another one. So We go back over
my God.
the bridge from Kingston into Poughkeepsie. He goes back, gets another ounce of weed,
Holy shit.
wraps it in so much saran wrap that you'll never even be able to do it, and he puts it in the engine. He finds like a little cubby
my
hole
God.
like near his like air filter, puts it in there, and we drive all the way down to Red Hook. We get it to who it's got to be to. We sit there and we listen to this Cage record this fucking, at the time, a pretty cool album.
Right.
We all go to Cold Stone Creamery together. We ice cream and we go back to Poughkeepsie. And it was just like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Years later, I go to a weird tattoo convention at a fucking ski resort that's kind of where Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York all come together. I don't know what the mountain is. Okay. But I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and we go up there. We go to the tattoo convention, and we're driving back home. And the road we go through is kind of like comes in and out of New York back into Connecticut. And at a part that we were in New York, I'm driving her car. I pull in to get gas, and then I pull out of the gas place, and we get on the route we're supposed to go, and a cop pulls me over. And he asked for my license, whatever. I did like a weird illegal turn. Like I did like a U-turn in the road because I was going the wrong way. And he tells me about it. He comes back to the car, and he goes, step out of the car. Like, come back here with me. I never paid the seatbelt ticket that I got with
Oh my God.
It's like fucking 10 years later, 10 years like that. And he's like, I have to arrest you right now.
Holy shit.
You don't have to, like, we're going to do it in the car. Like, you're going to leave. But, like, I have to, like, formally arrest you and then give you a ticket and a summons to come back. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And I had a knife on me at the time. Just like a regular, like, a clip, like a knife anybody would have on me.
Right.
And he's like, you got any weapons on you? I go, I do have this knife. And I just pull it off my pocket and I give it to him. He's like, okay, whatever. So he puts me in the back of, like, this, like, cop truck. He doesn't handcuff me, but he just puts me there and like asks me these questions while he's filling out. He's got a little printer in his little fucking computer there. Gets all my information. Gives me the ticket, lets me out. He's like, all right, man, just go to the fucking, go to this thing. You'll probably have to pay like $100 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And as I'm walking back to the car, I go, hey, you got my knife. And he goes, oh, you're right. He's trying to keep my knife.
Nice.
And he gives me the knife back, and I fucking go home, and I think this is before Bones passed away, and I call him, and I was like, you'll never believe what fucking happened. And he's like, holy
God.
shit. He's like, no way. He's like, I didn't pay my ticket either. But yeah, rest in peace. I love that motherfucker to death.
Me too.
Love him to death.
Me too.
Dude, we've been talking for 2.5 hours. This will be the longest podcast I have ever recorded.
No shit. Wow.
Yeah. I think the longest I've ever went is like probably an hour and 45, and with like, a little intro and shit, it gets a little longer. But
wow,
this is going to be a good one, dude.
Well, I am proud to be a part of it.
I think your episode will be critically acclaimed.
I hope so. Yeah.
So you're going to drive back to Poughkeepsie. What are you going to do today?
Actually, what time is it?
It is 1:42.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still gonna make it. Yeah. My daughter is trying out for a play, so I'm gonna watch her audition.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So I think that's about all I really have planned for today.
Cool.
Whatever. I have tomorrow off, which is nice. So I'm gonna do maybe do a little Dissolve pre-production bullshit.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
So.
I can't wait to hear new shit, dude.
Yeah, I can't wait to record it, man. We have 6 new songs, and we're really, really proud of it. And it's, it's funny. It's different for us, but it's not unrecognizable.
Yeah.
It's not like people are gonna say, what the fuck, you guys, It's like, I think people who like Dissolve, I think are gonna be into it. But it's got a lot of stuff, a lot of pretty neat new things that we're doing.
That's awesome.
I kind of can't wait for people to hear it.
I'm psyched.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will be, because you guys haven't done anything in a while, and I think the actual like hardcore fans like of Dissolve will come back out and be as strong.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, the guy who puts out our records, John Torn.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I love John Torn.
He's the best dude of all time.
Is it coming out on Mitsuba?
Yeah.
Okay, he is one of the nicest nicest guys I've ever met in my life. He religiously listens to this podcast, so he's going to be very
Oh
happy.
yeah, we love you, John.
We love you, John.
We love you. But dude, that guy has loved our band. I think I met him when he was 15.
Yep.
Up in Albany, and he had like long hair.
Yep.
And he was such a nice guy. We have just stayed in touch over the years. He's tried to come to every single Dissolve show, and the only time that he ever misses them is when he's like on tour or something, you know.
Recon
with
John.
Recon John, or with First Blood.
Yep.
Because he does that sometimes too. So that's the only time he's ever really missed Dissolve shows. But that guy has fucking you talk about traveling. That guy has traveled to the ends of the earth.
He's one of the
come to our
biggest like
shows.
hardcore lovers that I've ever met in my life.
And it's really funny because we've known him for a million years, and over the years, everybody that I know has slowly met him.
Same.
And not through me.
Yeah.
It's really kind of weird. Like the fact I think a few years ago I realized that you guys knew each other. I saw you guys commenting on each other. It's like, great to see you last weekend, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys fucking hang out?
The same thing has happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I found out that he knew a bunch of rap people I know that I know from Albany.
Oh, so you met him through rap?
No, I've known him through everything, but when I found out he knew these people, I was just like, of course. Like, the dude will whittle his way into any hardcore situation all over the states.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know.
I envy people like him because he's like, he loves hardcore. He loves music.
He loves it, and he puts out. He doesn't make anything doing stuff for us.
Hell
and
no.
Putting out these records, but you know, he believes in us. You know, it's nice to have somebody that believes in you.
Dude, isn't it nice?
It really is.
Isn't it nice?
It is nice, but
well,
yeah.
Hey, John, we love you.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, we can't wait. We're gonna record in November. We have a couple more practices to get our shit together, and then we're gonna record and hopefully play soon. We like to get back to Connecticut soon. It's just such a great vibe when we play here, you know. Like this is just such it's our home. I feel like it's more of our home these days than Poughkeepsie in a weird way. Yeah,
that's awesome.
You know, it's really great. This is Connecticut, man. I fucking since I was a young lad, I've been a big fan of this place. Really love it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you for coming. Other than the album come out, you got anything you want to let people know about? Any happenings? You like, or should we just like wait in the wings and wait for this album to come out? You got no shows booked right now.
We don't have anything booked. I know that we were asked to do something in January with Intercourse.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't tell the other guys in the band about it yet. So, so hopefully we'll do that. That's back here in Connecticut. So, yeah, we don't really have anything booked. I think we kind of wanted to keep it kind of open so that we could record and finish writing and not be kind of distracted that way. But we played more shows this year than we have in the past, like 3 years before it combined and doubled.
Awesome.
So we feel like we're really starting to really sound pretty good.
Cool, man.
We're looking forward to getting in the studio and putting out something new, something a little more. I mean, we put out a 7-inch a couple of years ago, but this is a more substantial amount of music.
Where you record? Who's recording you?
We're gonna start off in the same place that we recorded our last 7-inch. It's called Nada is a studio, NADA. And we had such a great time there, and the sound we really loved the sound we got, and we loved working with John. He's a fucking great guy. And NADA, Nada. You got. Google it. It's a fucking great place. But
is this in New York?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's out our way. God, I can't remember the name of the town. It's one of those little stick towns that's out like by Newburgh area there.
Okay.
Sorry, John. But but you know, Google Nada. You'll find it. But we got a really great sound there. We want to at least go there and start and get as much done as we can there. And then our guitar player, Jamie, has a little studio in his house. And we'll probably do a lot of stuff there. And take our time, probably take about a month or so to kind of record the tracks, and then we might bring it back there to mix. I think that's what we're kind of planning on doing.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have something out by maybe early next year.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to it.
Ah, great.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you for making the trip.
Yeah.
Thank you for making this my longest podcast ever.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's such an honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Thorstenson. We'll see you later.
Take care now.